and the Bears meet up. The wind is gusting in off Lake Michigan. It could be very much of a factor in this game. Hello, everyone. I'm Don Crickey, joined by the former Jet All-Pro running back Emerson Boozer. Emerson, we have a very gusting wind coming in off Lake Michigan. Do you think that could dictate a running game?
Not exactly. I think with the wind, with either club offensively, they'll throw the ball a lot. But when they turn it around, oppose that wind, they must keep the ball on the ground because you don't want to see one of your passes stop in midair.
Jack Pardee, the coach of the Chicago Bears, thinks this is a very important football game. He said if the Bears really do have a good team like he thinks they have, they should show it today against a team like New Orleans. And the Saints need a win as bad as they've ever needed one right now.
They have been disappointing with their offensive unit. They need a lot of help.
Right now, the Saints have it teed up. They'll kick it off to lead away as the Chicago Bears are in receiving formation. The rookie from Southern California, who is a quarterback there, Vince Evans, is back deep for the Bears to look for the kickoff as Richie Zaro hits it well. He knocks it with the wind behind him 2 yards deep in the end zone. And here comes Vince Evans, a big running back, former quarterback, gets it out across the 25. The hard hit is put on him. Down on the play was a Tulane linebacker, Rick Kingray. And so the Bears go on offense, 1st and 10. Looking at the Chicago Bear offensive alignment, Bob Avellini, number 7, is their quarterback. His setbacks are Walter Payton and Roland Harper. The tight end is 88, Greg Latta. James Scott and Bo Rather are flanked to either side as the wide. Now they're both deployed to the right as they go pitch back to Walter Payton. And Payton is cut down at about the 29-yard line. Alex Price came up to make the hit for New Orleans, number 75.
Right now, the Bears are coming against the wind. Surprisingly, they want the second and fourth quarter. Having that wind will give them an added advantage going into the halftime and try to win it at the conclusion of the game if they have to pass the football.
The Saints and the Bears met in the preseason. New Orleans won here 20-14 in August. It is now 2nd down and 8. Bull Harper, Roland Harper looks to run, and the Saints cut down the run as New Orleans comes across, making a hit at the 33-yard line was the strong safety Chuck Christ, number 44. Harper, playing alongside an all-pro like the great Walter Payton, sometimes does not get the press he deserves, but this is a great football player. In his first 2 seasons at Chicago, he's averaged 4.4 yards a carry. Good receiver, blocks. He is responsible for a lot of Payton's yards.
He just showed me, Walter Payton, matter of fact, just showed me something there, Don. He opened up a nice hole in blocking on one of the Saint linebackers, and that's a tough play to move out.
Payton is a blocker. He'll knock down a linebacker. He's one of the better blocking backs in the league. They got 2 good blockers here at Chicago. Here comes Payton. And Walter Payton gets very near to a first down, who had advanced the ball out to about the 37-yard line. Merlot, the left side linebacker from Stanford, number 57, came across and hit him. We'll see where they spot the ball. Looks like it might be a little bit short, Emerson.
It looks as though they do have a good shot. They might bring the chains out for a measurement. There's one thing I like to bring out here, Don. The field is a little bit damp, and when the field is damp as it is, ball carriers and quarterbacks tend to get a little bit careless with a football. And when there's moisture on the ball, not coming from upstairs but on the ground, you tend to lose grip on the football. So you've got to be very careful with the wind mixed with a little dampness on the ground.
We had gusting rain and wind here in Chicago. They're now field pretty much bathed in sunlight as here is the punt. Bob Parsons hits it very well, the leading punter in the NFC. And back making a fair catch and then losing the football is a rookie, Rich Maude, who played last year for Penn State. And there is also a penalty marker down where the Saints were setting up the return. So New Orleans gets the ball for the first time with 12:34 left to play in the first quarter. No score on the board. The Saints going with Archie Manning at quarterback. Muncie and Galbraith will be his running backs as we wait now for the official ruling on the penalty marker. And it looks like it's going to be a clip call, and it'll set the Saints back. Illegal use of hands against New Orleans. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Chicago Bears and the National Football League is prohibited.
Illegal use of hands, number 24, receiver. First down.
Right away, Don, the New Orleans Saints special team has put their offensive unit in a bit of a hole. You want to try to start your offensive unit at the 20-yard line, but they are -10 at this point.
New Orleans had no running game at all, but they're looking for one right now. Straight T backfield, a power backfield, and Galbraith, a big second-year back out of Missouri, hits straight ahead out across the 10-yard line, advances the ball close to the 13-yard line. Don Reeves, the middle linebacker for Chicago, is the guy that knocked him down. Last week, as you see the New Orleans offensive backfield, the Saints would have only had 8 yards rushing had not a broken pass play resulted in a 31-yard run for a touchdown by halfback Chuck Muncie. He was rolling out to throw the ball, saw an opening, and ran for a touchdown. But from scrimmage on straight running plays, the Saints had but 8 yards. They got 4 in their first crack. Now, Muncie hits out across the 15-yard line, gets the ball close to the 16. Ron Rydalch, number 76, and veteran Doug Buffon were on the stop for Chicago.
Knowing Coach Hank Stram over the years and having played against many of his clubs, I'm sure at this point he wants to get both of those great running backs, particularly great running backs, into the action today, because it does 2 things. Number one, keep the ball away from the Bear offense, ball to Payton, if you can control it on the ground. So I'm not surprised at this point that they've run the ball twice already.
Billy Newsom, an ex-Saint, is at right defensive end for Chicago. Archie Manning on 3rd and 3, pitches back. Muncie runs, and a big hit is put on him by the middle linebacker, Don Reeves. Reeves, the middle linebacker, makes the big hit for the Chicago Bears in a 3rd down play, and now New Orleans will have to punt the ball back to Chicago. The Saints punting from deep in their own area of the field. They will have the wind advantage here in the first quarter. And their punter, Blanchard, has done an excellent job this year. He's right behind Parsons. Last week against Detroit, Tom Blanchard averaged over 50 yards for 8 punts, hit one of 66 yards. And as you see, he'll be drilling it from inside his 5-yard line. Steve Schubert is back deep now for the Bears. Blanchard hits it downfield. The wind takes it back, and Schubert positioned perfectly at the 33, starts upfield with room to go. Schubert across midfield, and Schubert is cut down at the 45-yard line of New Orleans.
Don, that was the kind of punt that you really don't want to see your punting team make. It was not a high kick. The wind carried it very well, got downfield in a hurry, so you were able to get a return. That ball has to be put in the air. Hope to get as much height as you possibly can.
A 53-yard punt, but Schubert got it back, and there's also a penalty marker down on the field. Greg Boykin, a rookie from Northwestern, was down on special teams to make the hit for New Orleans.
Illegal formation. New Orleans, not enough men on the line of scrimmage. Decline, 1st down.
Those are the kind of mistakes that you don't want to see any club makes. Here, a club that has to get back into action, come up and not get enough men on the line. The little things like that will beat you, Don.
Bob Pollard, Alex Price, Derlin Moore across the defensive front. Elias Grooms, here's the pitch and turning in. Holding on to the football was Bo Rather. As Rather turned in, the ball was there. I think he might have heard those defensive backs coming up to put the pop on him. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 now for Chicago, just inside the 45-yard line of New Orleans.
I think you were exactly right, Don. He leaped in the air to ward off the defender, tried to cover the football. The ball hit his hands, just could not hold on to it.
The Chicago Bears have made some changes in their offensive line. They have a very highly regarded rookie from California, Ted Albrecht, starting for Jeff Seavey at the left tackle. 2nd down and 10 for Avellini and the Bears. Pitch back to Payton. Got a man out in front of him, and Walter Payton is inside the 40 and turns it all the way down to the 37-yard line. Got close to 8.
Right now, this is a pretty open offensive ball game. They're using the kind of play, a little 28 or 29, you might call it here, pitch out. But this kind of play worries me on a day where the ball has a little bit of moisture and the wind. The ball could get away from you, but sure-handed Mr. Payton picks up about 8 yards and tries to ram as he works his way upfield.
Big Dennis Lick was out in front of him, blocking out on the cornerback over there, Craig Cassidy. So now it's going to be 3rd down and 2 for the Bears. The ball spotted just outside the 36-yard line of New Orleans. We're in the first quarter, and there's no score. Double tight end set. They go to Roland Harper, and he looks like he's got what he needed. Had to get 2. He got all of that as he drives down close to the 33-yard line. The middle of the Saints defensive line on a stop. Alex Price and Derlin Moore, but it's a 1st down for Chicago.
Strategy starts to build right now. The Bears know they have a good running attack. The Saints think they have one because they have 2 great young running backs. But right now, neither club has opted to throw the ball that much.
The one ball that Avellini put in the air was right on the numbers. But Braddock couldn't hold on. Now Avellini on first down looking to put it up again. He's got time. Now the big rush comes, and Avellini throws and gets a man. It's Walter Payton. And Payton is inside the 10. It's going to be touchdown Chicago. Avellini, who had a scramble, got it off on the run. He looked for an open man, and he got the right one. And Walter Payton, who does it on his own if you give him room.
This is what you'd like to do against a club like New Orleans. It's been reported that they're a little bit weak in the secondary, if there's such a thing. But you give Mr. Payton to any linebacker, this is what can happen. Gets a block, finds a little room on the sideline, and he starts to step out. It's all over. 6-pointer.
So now Bob Thomas will try the point after. Gets 2 hits with little difficulty. And so we have 9 minutes left to play in the first quarter here at Chicago, and the Bears have ripped up the big gainer, and they're in the lead 7-0. Well, after the Bears got the ball in good field position following Schubert's punt return, it didn't take them long to take it in, as Avellini on a scramble hits Walter Payton, who went down the far sideline 33 yards for a touchdown. Subsequent extra point good by Thomas. It's now 7-0 game Bears. Thomas kicks off into the wind. You can see that ball held up. Saints will get a return on this. Coming up with the ball is Rich Malley, and he is up and across the 25-yard line. Nicely done by Len Walterscheid. Number 23, who was down on special teams. Fensick was also on the play for Chicago. And so the Saints come back out on offense, trailing in the game 7-0 with 8:52 to play in the first quarter.
There was one thing wrong with that kickoff return. The returner got too close to his wedge. You cannot permit yourself to get right on the backs of your blockers, because one man can cut down an entire blocking core, and you've had it, which is exactly what happened.
Marty is now out wide to the left as one wide receiver. Don Herman is the other. Handoff goes to Galbraith, and he is cut down for just about no gain. Osborne, the big defensive tackle that Louisiana football fans remember from Southern University in Baton Rouge, knocked him down at about the 27-yard line. The Saints having difficulty getting that running game going, and when they've been forced to throw, Manning has had problems. He has been sacked more than any quarterback in the NFL through the first 2 weeks of play, 13 times.
I often wonder, when you have two great running backs like Galbraith and Muncie, then have a fine quarterback in Archie Manning, where do you place your priorities? You want to get balanced both run block and pass block, but thus far they do not have it.
Now they bring a line of defensive back up tight for Chicago to force the run, and still Muncie turns the corner, but we might have a motion penalty against the Saints. As the marker went down to the line of scrimmage, Wayman Bryant, the big outside linebacker, knocked down Chuck Muncie, but this play is going to come back.
If there's a weakness for the Bears, I think it has to be in their linebacking core and possibly in the secondary. But thus far, the front four of the Bears have played well. They need a little more pass rush. They hope that they can get to Archie Manning if he decides to throw the football a lot. And on the other side, Manning has to be aware of the number of times he can hit.
2 men moving. Second down.
Saints having a little problem misfiring off the scrimmage play, and so now it's going to bring up a second down and 14 yards to go. Second and 15. The Bears have not got the pass rush they'd like. Now they go to Muncie on a draw, and the big back from California runs the ball out across the 25-yard line, got it out to about the 27. It'll bring up 3rd down and 9. Gary Fensick knocked him down along with Jerry Myers, 74.
This is a middle draw where the halfback merely sets up, finds his way inside, gets a good block here, just did not get enough maneuvering room to get the necessary yardage for the first time. A very fine piece of running by Chuck Muncie.
Buffon, Reeves, and Bryant back the line for Chicago. Newsom and Myers at the defensive end. Osborne is one defensive tackle. Rydalch is the other. It is now 3rd and 9. They go to the run, and here comes Galbraith. Tony Galbraith gets ahead, and he's got a first down for New Orleans. Had to get the ball out across the 35, out across the 36. He did that, and then was driven back by a former St. Terry Schmidt. The Bears have not been pleased with their pass coverage. Consequently, they have set the strong safety Craig Clemens on the bench this week. And they've had 3 cornerbacks actually playing. One of them is now the strong safety, Terry Schmidt, normally a cornerback. Alan Ellis is at one corner, Virgil Livers at the other. Fensick and Schmidt, the deep backs for Chicago. 1st and 10, New Orleans at the St. 37. The handoff, straight ahead carry as the Saints try to gut it out. We might have a late hit there, Mo, by Chicago.
I think we do. Somebody came up rather late there. I think Terry Schmidt came up. I don't think he really had to put that blow because the running back had gone down. He wanted to add a little security to it and made a big mistake.
Now Chuck Muncy goes out of the game, and Mike Strawn, number 33, comes in. Billy Newsom might have been in on a late hit. Gordon McCarter, the referee, is going to tell us just what happened here.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 47. 1st down.
So it turned out, after all, to be number 47, Mike Spivey, a rookie from Colorado. Came in to play deep. 1st and 10 now. The major penalty, advancing the ball inside the Chicago 45-yard line. The Saints try to go to the run again. This time, Rolladal shuts it right down. We have 6:35 to play in the 1st quarter here at Chicago. Don Criqui with Emerson Boozer. The Chicago Bears in their 2nd possession move 44 yards very quickly. The last 33 on a pass from Avellini to Payton as Jack Pardee. The Bears coach looks on from the sideline. Pardee said of last week's Cardinal game, they didn't play well enough to beat us, but final numbers refute that. It was 16-13. On 2nd and 9, the Bears again shut down the New Orleans run very quickly. They tried to go with a quick trap block up the middle, but Don Reeves filled very nicely, the middle linebacker for the Bears, and it's going to be 3rd down and 9.
Reeves read that one very well. He was keying off of the left guard, and the left guard folded over to move to his left. That tells the middle linebacker it's time to step into the gap because something is about to happen.
Muncy comes back into the Saints offensive backfield now. 7-0 Chicago in the 1st quarter. 5:40 to play in it. Out wide to the right is Herman. Here's a pitch back to Chuck Muncy. And Muncy is knocked out of bounds. Coming across was Alan Ellis, the left side cornerback, number 48 from UCLA. Now in his 5th year, the defensive backfield coach of the Bears, Ross Fietner, says that he thinks Ellis right now is Pro Bowl caliber cornerback. He said he does everything right.
A couple of years ago, Ellis had a lot of trouble at the cornerback slot. Really, I think they attribute that to his quick feet. He had trouble maintaining his balance, but for some reason last year he got on track and has become a very stern foe in that secondary for the Bears.
Schubert is again back deep now with men on either flank. Brian Baschnagel is also back along with Walter Scheid as Blanchard will punt now for New Orleans. Gets time and drills it deep, should carry into the end zone for a touchback, and the Chicago Bears will take it out on their 21st and 10. So now we have 5 minutes and 26 seconds left to play in the 1st quarter, and the Chicago Bears take over possession of the ball, leading 7-0. Well, up at Pontiac, Michigan, the Detroit Lions out in front of Philadelphia 10-7. Detroit just got a field goal from Nickemeyer to put them in front after the game was tied. And the Packers, after moving out in front 7-0 over the Vikings, now have that game tied up as Tarkin has just thrown to White 16 yards for a touchdown. Bob Avellini guns it out quickly in the flat, isolating the wide receiver against the cornerback. A penalty marker goes down, is moving up the field with the football was James Scott. They're working on Cassidy, the young cornerback over there out of Ohio State, who's been moved to cornerback because of the injury to Ernie Jackson, who suffered a dislocated elbow against the Lions. And Cassidy making his first start, so they're going to go to work on number 23.
Here's a guy that you don't want to give him a step because James Scott can really fly. Sometimes it looks as though he has rollers or wings on his feet because he can really stretch it out. That's the kind of play you want to get to a fleet-footed receiver. A little quick pop. You got the defensive back backing off. Give him a little maneuvering room, and he's gone.
That big Dennis Lick, number 70, was out in front of the play again. He's played a lot of football here at Soldier Field, led St. Rita High School in Chicago to 2 Chicago Prep High School championships, then went on to Wisconsin.
Offensive pass interference. Number 80 is the accepted penalty. The illegal use of hands by the offense was declined. First down.
Bo Rather had the problem. So now the ball is set back to the 10-yard line. It's going to be first down and 20 for Chicago. Avellini goes in the draw to Harper. He's caught by Derlin Moore and knocked down. Number 74, Derlin Moore, makes the tackle for New Orleans. So now it's going to bring up second down. The pickup was less than 2 yards. It'll be second and 19 for the Chicago Bears. We have 5 minutes left to play in the first quarter. The Bears are leading 7-0. Scored in their second possession on a 33-yard touchdown pass play. Avellini to Walter Payton is actually a broken play. Avellini was scrambling, found Payton along the far sideline. He took it the distance. Avellini on a counter coming across as Walter Payton hits out to the 15-yard line and is knocked down there. Fetterspiel, who made 20 tackles last week against the Lions, the New Orleans middle linebacker, made the stop. Payton, after the 160-yard game against Detroit his first week, was held with 36 yards and 11 carries last week against St. Louis.
Don, right here is a point where if a defensive unit is going to stand up and give the overall club a little strength, you have to try to take any offensive unit, especially this Bear unit, and keep them down in that territory. Now is the time to stand up and be tough.
Third down and 15 for Chicago. Avellini's got a big rush against him. He gets it away. And Schubert had the defense beaten by a long way. Alex Price put the hit on, and Avellini could not get the ball the distance he needed. Schubert would have been gone. The Saints had a problem last week with a crossing pattern where the two wide receivers just angle across the middle of the field. That's what Schubert was running there. Watch the Bears pass blocking here. 64 is Albrecht.
The Bears wanted to get a lot of protection on the deep pass, but what surprises me is that Avellini tried to throw as deep as he did with the wind in his face.
The punt now by Parson. A fair catch is signaled for and made by Motti at the 39-yard line of Chicago. And so with 3:54 left to play in the first quarter, New Orleans gets good field position to go first and 10. The Saints will come out first and 10 at the 39-yard line of Chicago with the Bears in the lead 7-0. At Cleveland, the Steelers and the Browns hooking up there, and a lot of points going up in the first half.
Absolutely right, Don. Normally, a team that comes from a Monday night game will lose on Sunday when they play a club like Pittsburgh, but right now the Browns are hanging on.
Bradshaw just threw a 66-yard touchdown pass to tie it for Pittsburgh. Manning throws on the run. Open is Galbraith. And he has a first down on a 12-yard advance down to the 28-yard line of the Chicago Bears. Wayman Bryant got Tony Galbraith, who's got the good hands, went up in the air to get it.
This is one of Coach Hank Stram's favorite patterns. He calls it moving pockets, swinging out a little bit, getting outside, and flips it to Galbraith, finds a lot of room.
A lot of backs in the league can go up in the air after the ball. Not too many come down with it. Galbraith with the big play now, and the Saints march on, trailing 7-0. Now they go to the run, and Muncie is stood up and knocked back and driven down. Billy Newsome, the big guy from Grambling. An ex-New Orleans Saint, figured in one of the most prominent trades in recent years in the NFL. You'll recall that Newsome was with the Baltimore Colts, was traded to New Orleans for the Saints' #1 draft choice, which Baltimore turned into Burt Jones.
A very good move by Baltimore. Thus far, Billy Newsome has traveled a bit up to the New York Jets, or New Orleans, rather. Jets, Buffalo, now Chicago.
Second down and 12. Manning, timing pattern, puts it up over the middle. Don Herman has the football inside the 15-yard line. And again, the Saints come up with a big play on the right arm of Archie Manning. A perfect timing throw. The veteran wide receiver, Don Herman. Allen Ellis was covering, but it's a gain of about 16 yards and a first down.
Don, this kind of pattern puts a lot of pressure on the defense. Manning starts to roll. Manning has the ability to run the football. They don't know what he's going to do. He has a receiver coming in on an angle, finds him. Big game.
The Saints are now mounting a challenge. We have 2:14 left to play in the first quarter. Chicago leads 7-0. Pitch back, Chuck Muncie. And Muncie is knocked down at about the 15, a loss of a couple of yards. It'll be second down and 12.
It looks as though New Orleans thinks that they can get outside on Chicago with their quick pitches. This is about the third time in this ballgame that they've used it, but thus far the Bears have stood tall, and they have not permitted Muncie to get outside with his quick pitches.
Muncie is 6'3", 220 pounds. #1 draft choice of the Saints a year ago. Average 4.4 yards a carry. Manning on a quarterback draw calls his own number and takes it down inside the 10 and down to the 8. On 2nd and just over 11, Archie Manning on a quarterback draw brings it down, and now the Saints will have a 3rd down coming up. About 5.
This kind of move by the quarterback Archie Manning can give a defense headache, because every time he moves back they expect pass, but they know that Archie Manning can run the football and run it well.
Montgomery and Morrison the tackles for the Saints. Schumacher and Zanders the guard. John Hill is down over the ball at center. 3rd and 5. Manning takes a look. He's looking at Herman. Now he's going to run it himself, and Archie Manning takes it in for a touchdown for New Orleans. And the Saints moving the ball very nicely, looking like they did in the preseason. Come right back through the Chicago Bear defense and now put up 6 points, and Zarro is out to try to tie the game.
A busted play. Chicago covered well into the secondary. The good legs of Archie Manning. Couldn't use his arm, so off we go. And the pot of gold, 6 pounds.
Archie Manning is now in his 7th year. He came out, of course, in the year of the quarterback, the year that Plunkett went to New England, Pastorini to Houston, and Manning to New Orleans. Zarro hits the extra point. It is up and good. That was the year Paul Brown drafted a guy in the 3rd round, said, I got the best one of all. Turned out to be Ken Anderson. Right now, with 50 seconds left to play in the 1st quarter here at Soldier Field in Chicago, the Saints and the Bears are in a tied-up game, 7-7. The Chicago Honey Bears on the sideline as the Bears and the Saints are now tied up 7-7. New Orleans taking it downfield. Manning running in for the touchdown. How is he getting so open on those runs?
The Bears' pregame strategy, Don, was to get more pressure on Archie Manning when he tried to throw the football, because the offensive line of the Bears had permitted 13 sacks on Archie Manning. So the Bears wanted to get more rush. They got Billy Newsome, a good upfield rusher. Both the defensive ends are coming upfield, which leaves the middle completely open. If his quarterback sends the fullback out, pulling him out to the flat, gives him the entire middle, which is why we saw the fake pass, quarterback keeper, and then the touchdown score.
And now the kickoff by Zarro, as you see, goes in for a touchback, so Chicago again comes out 1st and 10 on their 20. We have 44 seconds left to play in the 1st quarter. Tampa Bay and Dallas, 10-0 in the 1st quarter. Philadelphia Eagle coaches said Tampa Bay has the best defense they've seen this year through the preseason and the first 2 weeks of regular season, but isn't too much offense there. On the run by Roland Harper out to the 25-yard line. Derlin Moore is on the stop for New Orleans. A pickup of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5.
Derlin Moore is playing very well this year. Hopefully he can keep into good form, because right now they need him.
Chicago's coaches said they could be blitzing a lot today because they've not been happy with the pass rush. Manning is throwing them off with those counters. The quarterback draws. Tied up game 7-7 late in the 1st quarter. Avellini ready to put it up. Pitches back. Here comes Payton. And Walter Payton was upended by Cassidy, the left side cornerback who came up to force the run. He's the son of the former Ohio State great Heisman Trophy winner Hopalong Cassidy. And now the gun sounds. That's the end of the 1st quarter with a score. The Chicago Bears 7, the New Orleans Saints 7. That's the best that Chicago Bears had it in a long time. The Bonamis up from New Orleans. 3rd down and 3 now for the Bears at their 28. Avellini's got time, and Harper loses the ball, almost had it. Avellini had time to pitch, and now he got a couple of combatants out there as they're separated. Albrecht exchanging some words with Alois Grooms. But the Bears come up short on a 3rd down try. Avellini had time, and Harper was open, could not make the connection. And now Bob Parsons will punt the ball for Chicago. He'll have the wind at his back as Rich Mouty, the rookie from Penn State, is back deep for New Orleans, standing at his 23. High kick. Coverage comes down. Mouty is taken down as the Bears execute very nicely on special teams coverage. Johnny Musso, number 22, was the man who was down to hit him. We have a 7-7 game in the 1st minute of the 2nd quarter here at Soldier Field in Chicago. Don Criqui with Emerson Boozer. The New Orleans Saints, after falling behind 7-0, then took it back down the field, got good field position following a Bear punt, ran it in with their quarterback Archie Manning coming up with 2 key runs, including the payoff one, taking it in for the touchdown. Herman goes wide to the left. Maude is wide to the right. Manning gives off. Second back through is Muncy. He's a full load as Muncy comes out from the 28-yard line and gets it out to the 35. Got 7. Newsom and Osborne tackled him.
Here's something, Don, that you can't teach a running back. The hole was not designed to go that wide, but it was shut down. As you can see, the right side of the line moving over. He finds daylight and just runs into a nice spot for a good gain.
Second down, 3 yards to go.
7-yard pickup. Very good blocking in the Saint offensive front. Quick drive, they go to Tony Galbraith, who brings the ball out across his 35 and gets it out close to the 37-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and short yardage as Newsom and the middle linebacker Don Reeves were on the stop for the Bears. Galbraith came in the 2nd round last year after Muncy was taken in the 1st round. 2 big backs, thunder and lightning. The Saints have got to get their running game going to establish their offense, allow Manning the chance to throw. They line up tight, 3rd and less than a yard. Galbraith is a leaper. Whoop, he left early. Nicely done by Manning, Archie Manning, see that, didn't go for the snap count until he saw Galbraith get in position, and he was set in a 3-point stance.
That's perfectly legal, but it's awfully close. You start that movement. Now, what should have happened, the linebacker should have kept coming. Don Reeves should have kept coming, then he could have drawn the foul.
It'll be close enough to measure. Looks like it might be a little short. No, it is. It is. Wait a minute now. You got to stretch that thing out. Oh, man. 1.5 inches. You accept 2 inches. So the Saints they're going to go for it. Saints are going to keep their offense in. Henry Stram, resplendent in a white raincoat. Waves his computer sheet. Get after him. Watch those Bear linebackers now fill the gaps as they're going to look for that goal line play. Galbraith, the leaper, goes over the top, and he gets the ball. He had to get it out across the 38-yard line to the 39.
Don, that's one of the toughest decisions to make in pro football for any coach, be it the head coach that makes the call or one of the coordinators. When you're backed up and you opt to go for the necessary yardage, be it 1 inch or a 1/3 of an inch, you miss it, and it's a bad call. But this time they were able to pick it up to keep the drive alive.
You miss it, it's a real bad call, and it's 4th down inside your own 35-yard line. Now the Bears fill and knock down Chuck Muncy. Chicago had the linebackers shooting the gaps. Coming hard was Don Reeves, the middle linebacker. Osborne, a defensive tackle, also was on the play. And veteran Doug Buffone was coming.
The blitz is what the Bears want to do most today, but on running plays, a blitz can get you into trouble. As you come in the door, the running back will go out the door.
So it's going to be 2nd down and 12 now for New Orleans after a loss of 2 yards. Maude to the left, and Herman is wide to the right. Manning. Timing pattern. Don Herman caught the ball out of bounds. Allen Ellis was covering, and that will bring up 3rd down and 12 now. Let's see what the Bears do if they shoot those linebackers in an obvious passing down.
Good execution here, but unfortunately the ball was thrown out of bounds. Don Herman had to go outside to make the reception. Good play making by Archie Manning. He looked to his left, moved to his right, and went up top downfield.
So with the game tied 7-7, 12:09 to play in the first half here at Soldier Field in Chicago. Temperature in the low 50s. New Orleans goes. Archie Manning gets time. Man is open. It's a 1st down to the rookie, Rich Maude. He's got the ball down to the 42-yard line. as the New Orleans Saints come up with a tight blocking for Archie Manning. If you give him time, he will get it there.
Again, notice that the Bears are getting the rush from the outside. They bring the middle linebacker, which gives Manning a clear view downfield. He wants everything right in front, so the pattern has been called to work his receivers across the middle, and he finds it.
Right now, 3rd and 12, he delivers for a 22-yard gain to Mauti. And so now the Saints are in Chicago Bears territory, down at the Bear 42. Second back is Muncy. Penalty marker goes down as Muncy is run out of bounds inside the Bear 40-yard line. Buffon, the left side linebacker, was on the play for Chicago. Chuck Foreman has just run 3 yards for a Minnesota touchdown, but the extra point was blocked. And so the Vikings lead Green Bay 13-7 in the second quarter. Right now, this NFC Central Division is a 4-way tie for first or last. However you look at it, they're all 1-1. The Bears' schedule toughens up considerably. Following this game, they'll be playing the Los Angeles Rams in a Monday night game. Following that, they go against the Minnesota Vikings. And New Orleans goes back to New Orleans next week.
Illegal use of hands, number 86, offense, first down.
Play San Diego, New Orleans next week, and then they go against the Rams. So far, Archie Manning has thrown the ball 4 times for the Saints, has completed 3 for 50 yards. So that big penalty against the Saints makes it 1st and 20 at their 48. Go to the draw. Here comes Galbraith. Not done yet. Galbraith got back both to the penalty yardage. Got ahead for about 9 yards. Fensick and Rydalch were on the stop for the Bears. Chicago Bears have 2 former Ivy League captains on their team. Fensick was a captain of Yale. Dan Jiggets, a backup offensive lineman, was a captain at Harvard. The Yale wants to have their picture in the upcoming program as the Colts lead the Bills 7-0 for the Yale-Harvard game, so they want to get a picture of him. And Jiggets and Fensick are going to have their pictures taken in a tuxedo, fitting the Ivy League. Here comes Manning. He's got a big problem. Manning throws on the run, and the play is broken up, and a penalty marker goes down. Mauti turning in again, and apparently Virgil Livers fouled Mauti. It's an automatic first down to the point of infraction.
Defensive pass interference, number 24, first down.
So the Saints get a big play now on the penalty as Jack Pardee, who says this is the day, if we are a good football team, we should start playing like it. 3 weeks into the regular season. The Saints and the Bears are locked up in a 7-7 tie right now. We have 10:36 to play in the first half. Manning with a 1st and 10 for the Saints at the Bear 30. Galbraith running hard, still driving, gets ahead for 4, down to the 26-yard line. Fensick, who had 17 tackles against the Cardinals last week, comes up to make the stop.
That tells an awful lot. If Fensick has to make 17 tackles, somebody in that line and linebacking core is not doing the job as it should be done.
Yeah, when your free safety's making 17 tackles. 2nd down and 6 now as the Saints playing into the wind. Manning goes to Muncy, and he is down to the 25-yard line. Bears cut it down quickly, a gain of only a yard. Osborne was on the stop. Now New England has gone out in front 20-14 over the Jets.
Don rather reminds me of a story up in Buffalo once. O.J. had reversed his field, gained about 25 yards for the touchdown. That run by Roscoe Word, a former cornerback of the Jets. The question was, at the conclusion of the game, Roscoe, how did O.J. beat you? Roscoe said, that is not the question. How did he get by 10 other guys before he got to me?
3rd down and 5 now for New Orleans. Saints are 4 for 7 converting 3rd downs. There goes Manning. He's going to get it. Archie Manning's not done yet. Inside the 20, inside the 15, and down to the 10-yard line. Archie Manning runs it ahead for 15 yards and a first down. He's the leading rusher in the game, far and away.
This is exactly what I meant when I said you get the rush upfield and sometimes bring your linebacker. That leaves either your running back or your quarterback an escape hatch. Manning finds it, gets the necessary yardage, and then shuffles and shakes and bullets his way for additional yardage.
So now the Saints are challenging to go ahead of this 7-7 lockup as you see Manning finally thrown down. Back to live action now. 1st and 10 just outside the 10. Manning throws looking for Mouty, who protests he was held up by Livers, but it goes as an incomplete pass. It'll be 2nd and 10.
It looked as though it might have been a hook pattern. Mouty didn't turn around, even though he complained, but the way the ball was thrown, Manning thought that he'd turn in a hook pattern there.
That stops the clock. We have 8 minutes and 27 seconds left to play in the first half here at Chicago. Bears scored first on a 33-yard pass play from Bob Avellini to Walter Payton. Saints came back on a run by Archie Manning from in close. Manning play faking. He's got time again. Puts it up. Got his tight end, and Thaxton crashes down close to the 2-yard line, down close to the 1. That'll bring up 3rd down if he did not get the first down, and less than a foot for a first down. And about a yard for a touchdown.
It's going to be close for the first down yardage. It is the kind of situation that any offensive unit would love to be in, needing only maybe an inch or two or half foot to get the needed first down with 4 tries at the goal line.
Thaxton, a big tight end, caught a lot of balls in the preseason, and he fights his way down. 3rd down and about a foot for the first down, and 3rd down and just over a yard for the touchdown. Let's see if they go back over to Galbraith. Manning calls his own number, and Archie Manning's going to score his 2nd touchdown of the game. So Manning play faking to his fullbacks and then rolling out and taking it in from a yard out.
And the Bear fans don't like what they see among the defensive players. They are beginning to boo. Manning here calls his own play, and it's getting rather risky to see a quarterback move around like that, but certainly it has worked this far, but you don't want to see a valuable player like Manning do that.
A big block by number 79, Emmanuel Sanders, who you saw kick out on the outside linebacker, Doug Buffone. That gave Manning the room for the touchdown. That was the touchdown block. Extra point by Zarro is delivered up and good, and so all of a sudden, after the Bears opened up an early 7-point lead, looked like they might be putting the Saints to rout. New Orleans rallies back with 2 touchdowns by their quarterback Manning to take the lead. New Orleans Bonanis have something to dance about here as the Saints, you see, their best drive of the season so far. 72 yards and 14 plays, using up over 7 minutes of the clock. That is what they have not had in the first 2 games, a ball control offense. Zarro squibs it downfield. It's going to pick up. Oh, a mistake is made by Waldershire. That ball would have gone out of bounds, and Saints would have had a kickoff from their 30. But Len Waldershire picked it up on the 2-hop and then couldn't hold himself and stepped out of bounds. So the Bears again go on offense from just outside their 20. Bradshaw has just thrown to Lynn Swan for a 2nd touchdown combination between those two as the Steelers have gone in front of the Browns 21-14. Bradshaw's thrown for 3 touchdowns in that game, 2 to Swan, 1 to Frank Lewis. 7:30 to play in the first half here at Chicago. Soldier Field is sold out. Wind is gusting in off Lake Michigan. Temperature in the low 50s. Chicago trails New Orleans 14-7. Avellini in the flat goes to Walter Payton. He's a tough guy. Look at Walter Payton. He almost took it a long way had he not gotten by. Bob Pollard finally ran him down, and Myers came over. If Payton had eluded them, he'd have gone a long way. Nothing left to get him.
You want to get Walter Payton on one of the linebackers, and this time he got Greg Westbrook, put a little move on him, and headed upfield. This is almost a cardinal sin.
So the Bears get the gainer out to their 32-yard line. They now have the ball 1st and 10 there. Avellini to Payton, and this time Walter Payton is cut down. The middle linebacker Fetterspiel filling very nicely. Derlin Moore was also on the play for New Orleans. The gain is out to the 35-yard line. Pickup of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. You see the Saints defensive huddle. New Orleans leading the game 14-7 in the 2nd quarter. Saints coming off 2 4-point losses in their opening 2 games of the season. against Green Bay and last week against Detroit after a 5-1 preseason, the best in the franchise history. Avellini has time, puts it up, penalty markers down, might have a hold against Chicago. The connection is made to Roland Harper all the way ahead to the 48-yard line. But the play is going to come back as we might have a hold against the Bears. And that is the signal from referee Gordon McCarter.
We've seen a number of penalties in crucial situations, especially like the last one. They had gotten the needed yardage that they wanted for the first down, but then come up with a breakdown. Both clubs have had crucial breakdowns when they didn't need them.
See who did it.
Holding, number 65, offense, second down.
Noah Jackson. It's only holding if you get caught, right?
That's the truth.
A lot of holding that doesn't. Bob Pollard grabs on early as the Chicago Bears are starting to hear some boos now here at Soldier Field. Payton was thrown down.
This is sheer quickness. The ball was designed to go off to the right of the New Orleans offensive line. He was blocked down inside, which you don't want to do, and he finds the ball carrier.
So we have third down and about 16 yards to go for the first down for the Chicago Bears. New Orleans leads 14-7. Here comes the rush on Avellini. A timing pattern. The man is open. The ball is dropped. James Scott. He's dropped 2. Hank Stram says something to him. Something along the line of nice going.
Scott had to wait on the football. It's a bit underthrown. And with the speed of Scott, having to slow down like that, put the brakes on in a hurry, it can be a very difficult reception to make.
So now the New Orleans defense again forces Chicago to punt. As Parsons, the big punter from Penn State, drops back. That's a good snap. And drills it well downfield. Here comes Mouty. Schubert is down, doesn't quite get to him. Mouty's got some room, and Mouty is out across the 35-yard line to the 36. And there New Orleans goes on offense, first and 10 as Art Best, number 25. Former Notre Dame running back, finished up at Kent State, drafted by the Rams, and came to Chicago, was down on special teams to make the play. And apparently there's a penalty marker down all the way back at the line of scrimmage. Honey Bears keeping warm. Might have been a Bear downfield early. Legal man downfield on the punt coverage. It's coming back at any rate with 5:21 to play in the first half. New Orleans 14, Chicago 7.
Ineligible downfield. Number 25, kickers. Repeat, fourth down.
So Art Best, who was down to make the play on special teams, left early. So he got there.
First down, 20 yards to go.
Air fans were looking for a big season, still are. Right now, Chicago having trouble moving the football against New Orleans. Field position has been very important in this game. The first 2 touchdowns came after punts, will result in good field position for the offenses. Bears scored, 33-yard pass play, then New Orleans came right back with Manning running it in. Manning scored again from a yard out. Now Parsons hits it deep. Here's Mouty. Turning the corner. And Mouty's finally run out of bounds at the 29, so ultimately the Saints were better off with the first punt. They wanted that second shot at it. This time Best is down again to make the play on special teams, and New Orleans goes back on offense with a 7-point lead. Back at Soldier Field in Chicago, we have 5:08 to play in the first half. The New Orleans Saints lead the Bears 14-0, and now the Saints go on offense, first and 10. The ball at their 29. Manning to Muncie. Stood up and driven back by Buffon. Doug Buffon, in his 11th year from Louisville, the defensive captain of the Chicago Bears, drives back Chuck Muncie for a loss of a yard.
A defensive play played very well by Doug Pavone. A well-experienced player, been around the league, knows what he's doing, wards off the blocker, and finds Muncy and bear hugs all the way.
Two big people in a head-on collision. Now the Saints go with a straight T backfield. One wide receiver. In motion goes Herman. Quick draw. Muncy runs. And Muncy hits out across the 30-yard line. A gain of about 3 yards on the play. It'll be 3rd and long now for New Orleans. Fensick. Strong safety, number 45, came up to make the hit. Muncy needs, I think, a new shirt here.
Some teams prefer to use the tearaway jerseys when they feel that they have a strong back, a deep thread back. They want his shirt to come off anytime one is grabbed.
Manning has 31 yards and 2 touchdowns on 4 carries. Muncy 17 yards and 11 carries. Galbraith 34 yards. Down the field, ooh, the free football. Manning, who's got a fastball arm, coming off that shoulder surgery, had the ball right there on the numbers into the wind, but Allen Ellis, covering very nicely, shook it loose from Don Herman, and now the Saints will have to punt the ball back into the wind of the Chicago Bears. The Bears can come out of this with good field position with 3:44 to play in the first half, and New Orleans leading the game 14-7. Tom Blanchard hits it very nicely into the wind. A tremendous punt. It drives Schubert back inside his 25, but now he's got a channel of blockers, and Schubert rips it out to the 36-yard line. And there, with 3.5 to go in the first half, the Bears go on offense, 1st and 10, looking to sustain a drive, as New Orleans defense has been closing down the Chicago Bears in offense. And you'll be seeing the World Middleweight Full Contact Karate Championship live from Indianapolis with Bill Superfoot Wallace, who can part your hair with his right foot very quickly. Here's a pitch down the middle to Roland Harper, who was open but could not hold on. CBS Sports Spectacular next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern Time.
Harper a little bit disappointed. He knew he had room to run. Watched the ball in a bit, turned to go too soon, loses the football.
So Avellini's had open guys. He's had some balls dropped on him, at least 3 here in the first half. And now it is 2nd down and 10 for Chicago. The ball at the 36-yard line. Avellini working with that gusting wind at his back. 14-7 New Orleans. Payton turns the corner and is ripped down at about the 41-yard line. Bring up about 3rd and a long 5, 3rd and 6. Craig Cassidy and Tom Myers were on the stop for the Saints. Walter Payton's now run with the ball 8 times for Chicago, has gained 28 yards. Harper has 14 yards and 4 carries. Avellini was a 6th-round draft choice out of Maryland. He caught Pardee's attention as a rookie when one day they were short of wide receivers. He just went right in and started running patterns. Pardee figured this is the guy who wants to play. Was in preseason competition with Mike Phipps for the starting job. Oh, that ball might have been picked off. I believe it was. Chuck Christ, the strong safety of New Orleans, got it off the hands of Roland Harper. And so the Saints get the ball back at the 46-yard line. Roland Harper is down. It's for sure he's got hurt feelings.
This is what can happen. The ball was not the best thrown ball because the back is Harper swinging out of the backfield. Notice now that he has to turn back inside, even though he's running away toward the sideline. He had to turn completely around to try to get the football. In essence, it was thrown behind him a bit.
And so now Harper is being attended to, and when you twisted back, he might have twisted a knee there, Emerson. That's what they're looking at.
That's the way I got my knee torn up about 9 years ago.
Next week, a lot more NFL action on CBS. The Eagles and the Giants meet up in New Jersey. It's Detroit against the Minnesota Vikings. Other games next week include Atlanta at San Francisco. Atlanta's got a football team this year under the new coach Lehman Bennett. Washington at Tampa Bay. And then some interesting doubleheader games. Those arch rivals from the NFC East. The Cowboys and the Cardinals meet up at St. Louis. Check your local listings for the game or games in your area, as now we have 1st and 10 for New Orleans. 2:39 to play in the first half. Saints lead 14-7 as Muncie turns the corner. Holding on and knocking him down is Fensick, the strong safety from Yale from nearby Barrington, Illinois.
We talked about Fensick making about 17 tackles last week against the Cardinals. Here again, he has to give needed support to his linebacker because Galbraith gets into his linebacker, leaving Muncie solely into the secondary.
Muncie has very elusive speed. He's 220 pounds, can run the 100 in under 10 seconds. Makes very big strides. Doesn't look like he's going that fast, and all of a sudden he whooshes on by. Good fake by Galbraith. He started to fake he was going to go wide, and then came right back, and Manning tucked it in. And Galbraith rips ahead, and again Fensick makes the stop as New Orleans gets a first down. And now we're going to have the 2-minute warning here at Chicago as the Saints are closing in on field goal range. So with 2 minutes left to play in the first half, the score remains the New Orleans Saints 14, the Chicago Bears 7, but the Saints starting to challenge again. This is Don Criqui with Emerson Boozer back at Soldier Field in Chicago. New Orleans Saints with a 14-7 lead. Now have the ball 1st and 10 at the Bear 33-yard line with 2 minutes to play in the first half. 1:59 to go. Paxton aligns as the tight end to the right. Manning get very tricky in these situations. Goes to Muncie, and he is cut down nicely by the Bears. Doug Buffone, who was reading Muncie all the way, came crashing in from the left side linebacker spot to upend him. Saints not calling a timeout as the clock winding down.
Don Buffone played that one very well, even though I might say that Tony Galbraith went down a little bit too low in his attempt to block Buffone, leaving his arms free, his head free, and he stood tall.
Now Herman goes wide to the right. Mouty, who's made a big reception for New Orleans, is flanked to the left. Manning takes a look over the middle, puts it up. And that ball skipped in, just short of a Chicago Bear. Coming up looking to make a play on the ball was Terry Schmidt, the strong safety. And that brings up 3rd down and about 11. There's also a penalty marker down. This will take the Saints out of range. It's a hold.
Holding, number 77, offense, decline, 3rd down.
Marv Montgomery called for the hold. The Bears will rather have the Saints use up the down. So it'll be 3rd down and 11. The ball just inside the 35-yard line of Chicago. Manning, you see, good for 59 yards. He has run for the Saints 2 touchdowns in this game. They lead 14-7. There he goes. Puts it up. Guy's open. Chuck Muncie, he's going to take it in. Touchdown Saints. Boy, this game turned around after the Bears ripped it open early. All of a sudden, New Orleans has ripped it right open the other way. It is a 20-7 game.
Same place that the Bears scored on, a broken play, pressure on the quarterback. This time it's New Orleans time to move the ball in a broken pattern, find their halfback, and Chuck Muncie flips it out and down the right sideline, the same place where Walter Payton scored the opening touchdown for the Bears.
Manning's a great athlete. Recently, the Southeast Conference named their all-time team for the last 25 years, and he was picked as the quarterback. There's been some pretty good ones out of that conference. Here's the extra point attempt. Up and good by Zarro. It's a 21-7 game. Manning, White Sox fans may recall, was offered a $100,000 bonus to sign with the Chicago White Sox as a shortstop.
You don't design this kind of play. You just want to make sure that all your receivers get in front of the quarterback. The quarterback knows where he is. A little flip to his running back, Muncie. And again, we do it.
Muncie runs away from everybody. He can move it out. So now we have 1:04 left to play in the first half, and it's a very disappointing day for those that gathered here at Soldier Field, but a very Happy one for New Orleans right now as the Saints, off 2 off performances, all of a sudden are looking like they did when they were beating everybody in the preseason. New Orleans opening up a 21-7 lead in the first half.
It's rather early, Don, but last week both clubs had to play catch-up football. The Bears out in St. Louis and New Orleans.
Zarro elects to scrib the ball downfield into the wind. It's picked up by Robin Earl, a big 240-pound fullback rookie from the University of Washington. And so now Avellini and the Bear offense have just 1 minute to get the ball down the field, 62 yards. Jim Marsalis, who played on Hank Stram's Super Bowl team at Kansas City, has been down on the special teams play regularly, got that tackle. In addition to the U.S. Grand Prix highlights from Watkins Glen and the World Middleweight Full Contact Karate competition from Indianapolis, you also see some of the world's strongest men competition. The second event of this decathlon will be the Steel Bar Bend. Here is Avellini throwing. Oh, what a catch! What a brilliant catch by Bo Rather. Lost his footing, caught the ball flat in his back on his fingertip. Watch this. This is hard to believe.
That's a circus catch if you ever saw one, but it's the kind of play that can lift an offensive unit, even the defense, when they see a guy make such a tremendous effort to come up with a football.
A 22-yard gain on the play. And so, with 51 seconds left to play in the first half, the Bears have called a timeout. They have the ball at the 40-yard line of New Orleans. The Saints leading in the game 21-7. Avellini's had guys open regularly, Emerson, as he's had some drops, as we were pointing out. Very obvious to anybody watching they were dropped. And that one was the kind that should have been dropped.
I think the last one that he threw, other than that one there, the one that was intercepted was a badly thrown pass. That one was a badly thrown pass behind Bo Rathers, but a super catch by Rathers.
Now Avellini brings the Bears out of the huddle. Wide to the right is Rather. Wide to the right is Schubert. Wide to the left is James Scott. Avellini has time, now gets it away, and the ball is caught by Schubert. He's inside the 25-yard line for yet another first down. 43 seconds left to go, and the Bears take their second of 3 allotted timeouts. They are moving the ball right down the field on the quick, hard throws of Bob Avellini. So far in the game, Avellini's put the ball up 10 times, has completed 4 for 84 yards, but he's had 3 dropped. 1 timeout remaining for the Chicago Bears. Sid Gilman is the offensive quarterback coach with the Bears now, former head coach various places around the NFL, San Diego and Houston. That's Gilman talking to Avellini. Somebody here in Chicago wrote, this was the year we're supposed to have the big passing game, but so far all they've determined is whether it's Avellini or Phipps who hands off better to Walter Payton. Same offense, but Avellini's throwing very well today.
Some folks might wonder why teams move the ball well during the last 2 minutes to half or last 2 minutes of the ball game. Most defensive units are in that prevent, and what the main objective is not get hit by the home run football. At this point, resting near the 20-yard line, here's where they must come out of that prevent and play a standard defensive setup.
That was Henry Strand going down the far sideline. Now the Saints drop their free safety. Myers way back deep. Avellini rolling out, puts it up on the go, and he hits his man down at the 7-yard line. Bo Rather catches another one and then goes out of bounds to stop the clock with 37 seconds left.
What the Saints did, they elected to blitz that time. But normally when you blitz, you leave man-on-man coverage downfield on your secondary, and most secondary men don't like to see that happen. Watch the linebackers coming. Here they come, which means that now downfield, which we cannot see, all your defenders is on one-on-one coverage.
Veteran Pat Hughes, who is with the Giants his whole career up until this season, traded to New Orleans, was on the run, closing in on Avellini. Hughes is backing the line at the right side. Swing pass goes out to Roland Harper. crashes in, touchdown. Whoop, there's a penalty marker down at the goal line. There is a penalty marker down at the goal line. It is against Chicago. Play comes back.
Well thrown pass. The ball was thrown right where it should have been, right in front of the running back Harper as he's heading upfield. Took it in. Unfortunately, there is a penalty against the Bears, it looked like.
You saw Roland Harper thunder in, but it comes back. The Bears still have 31 seconds on the clock.
Pass interference, number 34, offense. First down.
Walter Payton used of offensive pass interference, and so the ball is now set all the way back to the 18-yard line of New Orleans. It'll be first down and 10 there for Chicago. First down and goal there for Chicago. First and goal from the 18. Avellini takes a look. They're giving him time. Lots of time. Man is open. Bo Rather is cut down at the 4-yard line. And the clock is running. The Bears signal for and take their last allotted timeout very wisely with 22 seconds left. They have time now to throw the ball. Let's watch it again here, Boo.
He got plenty of time. It looks as though they would get a little more pressure, but they didn't. They got there a bit too late. An L-type pattern coming directly in front of your quarterback, and all he has to do is wait and deliver the mail.
So Avellini comes back over. Now Chicago, as you see, is out of timeouts. 22 seconds remain to be played here in the second quarter. Chicago took the lead in the first quarter on a 33-yard touchdown pass play from Avellini to Walter Payton. And then the Saints came right back, scored on an Archie Manning run. Got field position again, took it down. Manning going in from just over a yard out. And then on a broken play, Manning rolled out and tipped the ball out, looped it out to Chuck Muncie, who ran it in for the third touchdown. And that's how it stands right now. The Saints with 3 extra points good. Lead the Bears 21-7. With 22 seconds left to play in the first half, but now Chicago has the good challenge going. They have second down and goal coming up from the 4-yard line of New Orleans. Cassidy, the cornerback, playing on the left side, his first year from Ohio State. He's up against Scott. Avellini takes a look over the middle, triggers the ball. It is dropped. Clock is stopped with 19 seconds. Play only took 3 seconds. But now it is third down and goal from 4 yards out. At Hughes and Tom Myers were covering on the play. The intended receiver was Walter Payton. The temperature here is in the low 50s. Looked like it was going to be a tough day to throw in. A lot of rain early in the day. That's cleared up now. Sunny skies. Avellini looks, fires into the end zone. A weird-looking play, and it's broken up. It's fourth down. And so does Jack Pardee try to put it up for a three-pointer from point-blank range. He's going to do that. Playing percentages.
Good defense by the New Orleans Saints because this ball appeared to be completed. I think Bobby Cassidy comes in after the ball had been tipped. Yet gets a piece of it because the ball would have been caught. Good play by Cassidy.
James Scott, 89, the intended receiver. Mike Fultz, a big defensive lineman from Nebraska, 280 pounds, tipped the ball. Now Thomas will try the point after. Or try the field goal, excuse me. Bob Thomas hits it up and good. And so with 10 seconds to play in the first half, the Bears put up points. And they now trail New Orleans 21-10. Jack Pardee electing to go for a sure shot field goal rather than gamble on a 4th and goal from 4 yards out. Looking for the touchdown with still a whole half to play. So Thomas will kick it off again now to the New Orleans Saints, who will have 10 seconds left. No doubt they'll look to just run the clock out and go to the locker room with a much bigger lead than they probably expected to have at this point, coming into the game a decided underdog.
Well, they didn't want to give up the touchdown. You don't want to give up 3 points either, but if you had to take one of the two, you've got to let them go for the three-pointer.
We'll be switching to CBS Control in New York for an update of all the games around the National Football League, complete with highlights with Brett Musburger, Phyllis George, and Irv Cross. We have 10 seconds to play in the first half here in Chicago. The Bears trailing the New Orleans Saints 21-10. Pretty soon they might even decide to have a guy hold the ball. Get an idea how that wind is gusting. Fisher should walk in and tell him to get a guy to hold the ball. Schubert coming in now. Will blow off again. Now I'm going to hold it. Kick coverage team hates to give up a guy down on one knee. They want everybody down in pursuit. Chuck Muncy is back. The big back is rolling out. And Muncy gets it out to the 23-yard line, and there the clock winds down with 3 seconds left to play. New Orleans will put the ball in for one play, and then the first half will end here at Chicago. The Saints in the lead, 21-10.
Don, seeing Chuck Muncy on the field, that had to be their prevent defense club, expecting maybe an onside kick.
Archie Manning, who's had a big game in the first half at quarterback for New Orleans. He has 2 of the Saints' 3 touchdowns to his credit on the run. Manning takes it down himself, and so the gun sounds. That's the end of the first half with the score. The Saints 21, the Bears 10. By the National Football League. Here at Soldier Field in Chicago, the score at the half is the New Orleans Saints 21, the Chicago Bears 10. Emerson, what do the Bears have to do to get back in this?
They've had a number of drop passes, I would say about 5, even though I think a couple were thrown behind. They are throwing the ball well. They will throw it again in the fourth quarter because they opted to have the wind in their face in the opening quarter. So you're looking for a big push with their passing in the fourth quarter. Third quarter will be relegated to the running attack by the Chicago Bears, and they do have a good one. Walter Payton leading it off, and Roland Harper.
Conversely, the New Orleans Saints got their first sustained offense of this regular season after what we pointed out was their best preseason ever. Manning has played an excellent football game.
They have moved well, and I think the important factor here is that the New Orleans Saints handed the Bears their first defeat during the preseason, so they know exactly what they want to do, and they're doing it well at this point.
Let's take a look now at how the first half statistics break down. The New Orleans Saints with a slight advantage in total yards, and actually a substantial advantage in rushing, and that has been their weak suit. They have not run the ball with any consistency. They have today 91 yards. Last week, as we pointed out, had it not been for Muncy's 31-yard touchdown run on a broken pass play, the Saints would have come out of that game with 8 yards rushing against the Lions from scrimmage. Offensive plays, the Saints had 39 to Chicago's 26 last week. Detroit doubled New Orleans' output of offensive plays. So the Saints have done what they set out to do. That's control the football. Their best drive was over 7 minutes in duration, 74 yards in distance. And now we'll see what the Bears come out and do. Probably keep going to that passing game because Avellini's had guys open. There has been some breakdowns in the Saints' coverage. There's no question about that, but the Bears have not been able to capitalize. Dropping back deep is the rookie from Southern California, Vince Evans, as teeing up the ball is Richie Zarro. Both teams having trouble getting that ball teed up at this end of the field as the wind is stronger than it has been. It is very strong, gusting left to right, coming off Lake Michigan. Zarro hits the ball hard with the wind at his back, and Evans he's going to bring it out from 8 yards deep. 10, 20, and gets it out to the 21, so he got a yard more than he would have gotten, taking the touchback On the play for New Orleans, covering was Wk3. It's 1st and 10, Chicago.
First and 10 to the Bears. Ball at the 21-yard line.
Evans took a big chance in breaking this ball out. Rule of thumb, normally if the ball is kicked 5 yards or more into the end zone, you should stay in. But take a look at Mr. Campbell here. Great big fellow ramble down the field, and whoops, you've got to keep your head on a swivel, so to speak, seeing exactly what's around you.
Cavallini takes the deep drop. Puts it up wide open is Roland Harper. Bo rather ran an out pattern, cleared that side out completely, and it was just an open set there for the running back swinging out to take the ball over the middle. Wide open. They were talking about that, some of the scouts downstairs, how wide open the Bear running backs have been coming out.
The Bear running backs and attempting to throw them has caused one turnover. And a ball thrown slightly behind Harper early in the second quarter led into an interception by the Saints in good field position.
Walter Payton runs into trouble right at the 35-yard line. Payton gets the ball out to just across the 35. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Jim Merlot backing the line to the left side. 57, Joe Fetterspiel in the middle on the stop. Merlot, Fetterspiel, and Hughes backing the line for New Orleans. Now Westbrooks is in for Hughes on the right side. Clarence Chapman and Craig Cassidy at the corners. Cavallini puts it up. Harper's open again. Merlot knocks him down short of the 1st down. It'll bring up 3rd and about 3.
It looks as though the Bears are staying with their original game plan. They opened the first quarter doing basically the same kind of thing. When they threw a very short pass, which you have to do when there's a strong wind at your face. Make sure you're throwing it to your running backs and your tight end short.
Bo Rather comes out of the game, number 80. James Scott comes out. On 3rd and short, they're going to go apparently with a power formation. That has been a problem for Chicago, the 3rd down today. 2 tight ends in the game. Payton is cut down for a loss of a yard. Greg Westbrooks, number 60, came shooting through the gap. A 3rd-year linebacker from Colorado, and he got Walter Payton for a loss, and so it's 4th down, and the Bears will have to punt the ball to New Orleans.
That's basically been the story for the Bear offense. Their 3rd down efficiency has been very poor today, and if they're going to win the ball game, they have to make the 3rd down situations.
Low snap, but Parsons gets it away. Fair catch is made by Marty at the 32, and there New Orleans will go on offense 1st and 10. 12:21 left to play in the 3rd quarter. The score remains the Saints 21, the Chicago Bears 10. Back at Soldier Field in Chicago, this is Don Criqui with Emerson Boozer. We're in the 3rd quarter, 12:21 to play in it. The Saints holding to a 21-10 lead, going offense for the first time in the 3rd quarter, breaking into the open formation. Galbraith, power run, gets it up the middle behind Montgomery, Schumacher, and his center Hill. As New Orleans is coming off the ball very quickly, straight power blocking down at Atlanta, Georgia. The Falcons continue to lead the Giants. It's now a 10-3 game as Atlanta had a 10-0 lead. Pittsburgh has opened it up now with the Cleveland Browns with a 28-14 lead. Bradshaw having the big game for the Steelers, throwing the ball. Handoff goes to Chuck Muncie as he darts and weaves and looks for a place to go. He gets ahead for 2 yards out to the 39-yard line. And that brings up 3rd down and 3 for Chicago. Jerry Myers and Doug Buffone were on the stop for the Bears.
Don, looking at the Saints come out of their offensive unit, it shows that they have not made any changes at halftime. They opened the ball game running the same kinds of plays with Galbraith and Muncie, so they're sticking with the original game plan.
Galbraith didn't get there, then maybe he did. As he spun off, it's going to be very close. Don Reeves, the middle linebacker, held on. Fenced the strong safety, came up and hit him down. The ball is spotted now. Looks from here like he's got enough for first down. If he does, it'll be by the nose of the football. Just got it. So as Gary Fensick comes up to force the run, Galbraith, a 225-pound fullback, spins off and gets the first down. Just gets it.
Don, that's one reason most running backs Goodwin will try to keep their head up, because if you allow your shoulders along with your legs to be stopped, you don't have a chance to roll or spin for the extra inch.
Manning, play faking, good blocking, puts it up long. Out there is Thaxton. Jim Thaxton has the football and gets it down to the 16-yard line. Thaxton, in his 4th year from Tennessee State, was just another guy on the New Orleans roster until the preseason, when he started tearing everybody up. There was nobody, none of the linebackers could stay with him when he come out and go deep like that off the tight end formation. That's where he comes from.
This time we got a blitz by the linebacker. The linebacker didn't hold him up at all, which turns him loose free down on your strong safety before he knows it. And Thaxton has very good speed and finds the football.
Runs right by the linebacker, right by the strong safety, and advances the ball all the way down to the 16-yard line. A 41-yard gain, and the Saints, with a 21-10 lead, are challenging again now. Pitch back to Galbraith. And Galbraith runs it down close to the 13-yard line. Billy Newsome and Jerry Myers, the two defensive ends, were on the stop for Chicago. 9:45 to play in the 3rd quarter. As the Saints get the big play, Manning to Thaxton, a 41-yard gainer. And now they have the ball inside the Bears' 15-yard line. Virgil Livers is playing the corner on the right side for Chicago. Alan Ellis is on the left side. Gary Fensick is back deep along with Terry Schmidt as the deep safeties. Quick draw, and they go to Galbraith, gets the ball down close to the 10. It'll bring up 3rd and 6 now for New Orleans. Reeves, the middle linebacker, played the run well. And we have the Saints with a 3rd down, and a big one coming up as they're down close again to a score.
Don, Archie Manning is mixing his plays very well. That time he faked a little pitch out to Chuck Muncie and gave it on a draw play to Galbraith.
Manning loses his footing again, the quarterback draw, and again Manning takes it in for a touchdown. Archie Manning calls his own number and for a 3rd time scores a touchdown. They love it in New Orleans, but it's not a happy setting right here in Chicago as the boos start to cascade down.
Again, the Bears are victimized by their scheme of things, blitzing their linebackers, bringing the defensive ends upfield, which tells Archie Manning, my middle is open. All I have to do is fake pass, run up the middle. He has scored again for the 3rd time today.
Zarro with the point after. It is up, it is good. So now with 8 minutes and 44 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter, the Saints have opened up a 28-10 lead, and Chicago's going to have to start pitching. As you see, the Saints go 67 yards in 7 plays. 41 of the yards coming on the throw from Manning to Thaxton, and now with Manning scoring the touchdown, it's a 28-10 game. Art Best is back deep for Chicago, and he downs the ball. That might be why he was sent in there the last time that the Saints kicked off. Vince Evans elected to bring it out from 9 yards deep. Percentages are against you on that.
That's a no-no in any league. I don't know the National Football League, but wherever you're playing football, you should never bring the ball out when it's 5 yards or more into the end zone.
So the ball is at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10 for Chicago. So far in the game, Archie Manning has thrown the ball 10 times, has completed 6 for 135 yards and 1 touchdown. He has rushed 6 times for 41 yards and 3 touchdowns. Manning has figured in all 4 scores. Avellini with time puts it up. Man is open. The ball was off the fingertips of James Scott.
That was a comeback pattern, Don. Ball was thrown a little bit too high. And when the receiver's coming back, as soon as he's turned and finds the ball up high, it's difficult for him to go from a standing position, a moving position back to your quarterback to get up for the football.
A lot of guys in this league would have caught that ball, though.
Naturally, anytime the ball hits the hands, it should be caught, whether it's high or low.
Schubert comes out wide to the left now. Avellini goes to the fly pattern the other way with the ball. Oh, it's once again off the fingertips of James Scott. He ain't getting it done.
The Bear fans don't like it. They're beginning to boo. This is about the 7th or 8th drop pass Avellini has had against him today, Don.
James Scott, normally a sure-handed receiver, comes back shaking his head. Scott leads the Bears coming to this game, caught 7 passes for an average catch of 14 yards through the first 2 games. Avellini takes a look. They're sure giving him time. The ball is off the hands of Roland Harper. And so the Bears come up short on the 3rd and 10. They have to punt the ball back to New Orleans. And if there's a guy that'll keep the points going up if he can, it's Henry Stram. He don't like to hold back.
Hank will never let up whenever he gets a chance to put the thumb on you. Right now, he has to move things around because he's lost 2 ball games, Don.
He is fully aware of that. Here's a kick by Parsons, who got very good foot into it, but the wind stops the ball. It takes a hop the other way, and there's also a penalty marker down. We might have a clip on New Orleans. They're pointing to one of the Saints. That stops the clock with 8 minutes and 12 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter here at Soldier Field in Chicago. The Saints leading the game 28-10. They were up 21-10 at halftime. And then Archie Manning ran in a short time ago for his 3rd touchdown running of this game. He's also passed for 1. And it is going to be a clip against the Saints. So they'll mark off the yardage from the point of infraction, which was the 47-yard line of New Orleans. And that sets the ball all the way back down to the 32.
Personal foul, flipping during the kick, number 24, receivers.
Clarence Chapman was the man who was guilty of the clip. So instead of getting the ball on the Bears' end of the field, New Orleans goes back on offense at their 32-yard line. Manning now with an 18-point lead. Might try to go right back to that ball control offense. Run those big backs at the Chicago defense. Chicago's looking for it. The outside linebackers come up tight. Reeves ready to fill that gap in the middle. Manning play faking. Puts it up. The ball is caught. All across midfield and out to the 48-yard line. Rookie Rich Maudie takes the ball for a first down. So when the Bears had the linebackers up tight, I don't know if Manning checked off or not. He went to the throw and got it.
Well, it looks as though you called it right on the head. I couldn't be sure that he checked off, but I'm sure with all that movement by the linebacking core, his program says check off to something short right behind the linebackers.
During the preseason, Henry Stram had a foul call on one of his players. Official called out the number. Henry said he isn't out there. He said, well, then it's 55. Henry said, what is this, bingo? Here is a handoff, and Muncy breaks the crust and almost takes it out into open field. As it was, he got ahead for an 8-yard gain down to the 41-yard line of Chicago. Bensick again making the stop from the free safety spot along with Wayman Bryant.
Right now,
watch Galbraith hit.
The St. Linemen, Montgomery, Schumacher, Hill, Zanders, and Morrison, they have to be very happy with the way things are going. And I know that Muncy and Galbraith are feeling fine because they're moving the football. They're opening cracks. They're blocking for the passer. Things are on the up.
Bensick hit him square with his head. Took up all that good learning he got at Yale. Galbraith down inside the 40 to the 38. Myers knocked him down, and it looks like a first down for New Orleans. As the 3rd quarter clock now shows 6:40 to play. The Saints lead the Bears 28-10 here at Soldier Field in Chicago. These two teams met here in August in a preseason game. New Orleans won that one 20-14. Like Sanders, the right guard, left early. Saints are pointing at the Chicago Bears. There's no way the defense can draw them off unless they come across and hit them. So it'll be 1st and 15. Gary Fensick has 10 tackles today for Chicago. He's assisted on 4 others.
False start. Number 79, offense, first down.
.6:19 left to go now in the 3rd quarter. It'll be 1st down and 15 for the Saints. Herman lines up tight. Muncy glides through and slides on down to the 35-yard line, a pickup of about 7 yards. Jerry Myers knocked him down. 6 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter.
It looks as though the Saints have found a home here. They're coming inside a lot. They're starting wide off tackle, and both Muncy and Galbraith are finding a gaping hole several times back into the middle.
First back through is Galbraith. He is knocked down as he gets just inside the 35-yard line of the Bears.
This time the Bears said, we've had enough of you running into our middle, and Mr. Reeves filled the gap nicely.
So it'll bring up a 3rd down and 7 now for New Orleans at the 35-yard line of Chicago. Saints led at the half 21-10. They've now opened up a 28-10 lead. Archie Manning, the Saints quarterback, has run for 3 touchdowns in this game. He has passed to Muncy for the other. Chicago scored first in the 33-yard pass play. Avellini to Payton. Manning gets time, puts it up. Herman is out there wide open. But the ball came in, as you saw, too deep. So that brings up 4th down. Don Herman, a former New York Giant, turns in.
The Bears put a little bit of pressure on Archie Manning. I think he released it a little bit too soon because Herman had a good move going across the middle there on Ellis. And the ball is just a bit too far out front.
Herman sacrificed his body. Did not get to the ball. Now we have Zarro trying a 52-yard field goal attempt. He can hit it from that far. Plus he's got a wind at his back. Hit the crossbar. Hit the crossbar. That's an automatic touchback. Ball comes out to the 20 for the Bears. You could try to do that all week and not be able to do it.
You try it all year and you won't hit it.
So the Saints' 52-yard field goal comes up literally inches short as you see it carom off the crossbar, and Chicago takes over the ball, trailing 28-10. At Cleveland's Lakefront Stadium, the Pittsburgh Steelers broke a 14-14 tie, and the passing of Bradshaw went on to beat the Browns soundly 28-14. Avellini throws. The ball is caught nicely by Rather as he goes in on a one-knee slide to the 45-yard line of the Saints to pick it off. Well, Scott has been able to hang on. Rather's come up with the big catches.
Mr. Rather's had several good catches all day long. And you would think that Avellini would make him his favorite receiver this afternoon because he is the most consistent one, including the running backs.
We have 4 minutes and 25 seconds left to play. Here's another final coming in from the East. The Jets, your old club. Hey.
What did I say about those Monday night clubs? They both were knocked off.
That's a big upset.
Oh, yes, it is.
Walt Michaels' first win as a head coach.
My old pro alma mater, they're looking up.
Harper got the ball, but it was resulting in no gain as the ball is spotted down at the 45-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd down and 10 for Chicago. Avellini throwing very well for the Chicago Bears in this game. He has hit 9 of 21, but that is really not indicative of his accuracy. 153 yards. He's had 5 drop. He's got to hurry. Here's a penalty marker down as Avellini took a swat from the middle linebacker Fetterswheel. George Hale is just amazing, sitting over next to us in the booth. There's the final. Detroit holding on to beat Philadelphia 17-13. 2nd down and 20 for the Bears at their 45-yard line. Avellini throws. It could have been picked off. Derlin Moore and Alex Price were putting a big rush. Clarence Chapman had a play on the ball, but did not get to it. Here is a finally Atlanta Falcons with the same people primarily that's been losing for the last 5 years down there. Under new coach Lehman Bennett now win their second game. 17-3 over the Giants. They almost beat Washington last week, routed the Rams the first week. Third down and 10 coming up for the Bears. They need the big play now as they trail in the game 28-10. They have 3:28 to play in the third quarter. Saints coming with a straight rush on Avellini. Rather is open. Oh, Rather makes the reception. They got the big play. Rather turning in and making the reception. Watch him again.
You have to know it. Bo Rather has been the most consistent receiver this afternoon for the Bears, where he runs a little turn in, gets in the nice passing lane. Somebody slips back there, which enables him to get the additional yardage. But a big play for the Bears to keep this drive alive.
Rather shaken up on the play, goes out. He's now caught 5 balls from Avellini for 100 yards, Bo Rather. And now the Bears start to mount a challenge at the 26-yard line. Walter Payton takes it up the middle. Ripping into the heart of the New Orleans defense like he shot out of a gun. And that big play juiced up the Bears. Ball to the 13-yard line.
This young man hadn't carried much here in the second half, but they just unleashed Mr. Excitement, Walter Payton. He leaps and scoots and scratches his way for all the yardage he can get. And they're on the move.
They are indeed. A gain of about 14 yards on the carry by Walter Payton. So far in the game, Walter Payton has run with the ball 11 times, has now gained 43 yards. Harper takes it, turns inside the 10-yard line. On a first down carry, Harper gets ahead for 4. Bob Pollard, number 82, the left end for New Orleans, made the stop as the Bears now closing in on a touchdown. Latta, the tight end, comes in. Schubert goes out. Go with a power formation down close to the New Orleans goal line. 1:35 to play in the third quarter, and that's how it stands on the bottom line. 28-10 New Orleans. Aloysius Grooms, number 78, caught Walter Payton up in midair, knocked him down. Jim Merlo was also on the stop. That's going to bring up 3rd down and 4 for the first down, 3rd and 6 for the touchdown. That is a gutting when the ball just lying on the field is blown back. They actually lowered the flags. They were blowing out so hard, almost ready to blow off them. Huge waves kicking in off Lake Michigan, crashing over the break walls. Off in the distance as Avellini looks into the end zone. Walter Payton got the ball. He got in. But there is a penalty marker down. There is a penalty marker down on the play. We'll see who it goes against. The Bears offensive pass interference for a second time down close to the goal line. And
let's see if we can see what happened here. The Bears don't like it.
Pass interference, number 85, offense, 3rd down.
Steve Schubert, one of the wide receivers, is called for offensive pass interference, so the touchdown by Payton is negated and the ball is set back to the 17-yard line, and there it'll be 3rd and 13.
Don, I think that was done deliberate. A number of teams around the league will run what they call a pick, and
right.
That was a pick.
Just like in basketball, they try to pick off a defender. Avellini takes a deep drop, swings it out to Walter Payton. And Payton has run out of bounds at the 15-yard line.
Love to watch that guy get his hands on the football.
We were talking earlier, you were pointing out an interesting thing, Emerson, that you used to work on in your days with the Jets and at Walter Payton as a master of nets. When you're going down, having the ability to use the left hand to go right back up.
Always keep the left hand free, or the right, depends upon where you are, to try at all times to regain your balance. Keep your feet spread wide apart so that you've got a good base. Coming inside, keep them close together so that you've got the maneuverability that you need coming inside tight situations.
Penalties have been a major problem for the Bears. As you see, they've been assessed 86 yards and 8 infractions. Here is Avellini throwing on 4th down and 11. Puts it up. It is caught by Harper. He goes down well short of the first down, and 2 penalty markers go down in the Chicago Bear backfield as the Saint front four was generating the big rush. The Saints are getting pressure on Avellini with a 4-man rush now. They're keeping those linebackers back in pass coverage on long yardage.
Right now, the Bears have not shown the kind of poise they need in this division. The first mistake, I'd have to say, had to be a coaching mistake, not unless the receiver got in the way, not knowing what was happening. But often seeing that kind of play, it is one that's designed by the coaching staff.
Holding,
and
number 70, offense, declined, first down the other way.
So on 4th down, understandably, the New Orleans Saints decline the penalty and take over the ball. Get the ball back at their 15-yard line. We have 26 seconds left to play in the third quarter here at Soldier Field in Chicago, and the Saints continue to lead the game 28-10 over the favored Bears. We are set now for the start of the fourth quarter here at Chicago with the New Orleans Saints in the process of an upset. Although they're 15 minutes away, a little over that, 26 seconds really left to go in the third quarter before we started up. And the Chicago Bears having trouble getting that consistent offense after they scored early in the game. They've not put up a touchdown. To that first one. Manning puts it up again. Thaxton is out there again. Oh, he dropped the ball at the 48-yard line of Chicago. Hensick was covering, but Thaxton had a step on him.
Right on his fingertips. Why he dropped it, I really don't know. But what you should be doing on a pass like that, or any pass for that matter, is to focus your eyes and watch it all the way into the hands. That I don't think he did.
Archie Manning, so far in this game, has thrown 13 times. He has completed 7 for 155 yards and the 1 touchdown to Chuck Muncie. Manning has also run 6 times for 41 yards and 3 touchdowns. Galbraith has 58 yards rushing, Muncie 36. Good reception. Oh, that was well done by Thaxton. He knew just where he had to go. On 2nd and 10, he ran just deep enough to get the yardage and then took the ball as Clemens, who's in the game now for Chicago, 43. The regular strong safety hit him, but it's a first down for the Saints. And now the gun sounds, and that is the end of the third quarter with the score. The New Orleans Saints 28, the Chicago Bears 10. We now pause for a word from your local station. This is Don Criqui with Emerson Boozer back at Soldier Field in Chicago. Emerson, you think the Bears can get back in this, trailing 28-10?
Yes, they can. If they're going to maintain that consistency in this division, they're going to have to stand up right now, both defensively and offensively.
They just stood up defensively and stood Galbraith up. Houston and Miami. The Dolphins jumping off to a 7-0 lead in the first quarter at the Orange Bowl. The Rams have gone in front of the San Francisco 49ers at Los Angeles 3-0 in the first quarter. Rams have not beaten the 49ers at Los Angeles since '74. 2nd down and 7 coming up. Manning gives to Muncie. Inside was cut off, tried to go wide, and the Bears rode him down. Jerry Myers, 74, was on the play along with 68, Jim Osborne.
The Bears are doing exactly what they have to do at this point. That is not allow the Saints to move offensively, then turn the ball over as readily as they can to their offensive unit, and then the unit must do their stuff, moving the ball down the field. If not, it could be a disappointing afternoon.
New Orleans has converted 8 of 14 third downs in this game. Converse to that is the Bears' numbers. They've converted only 2 of 12 third downs. 3rd and 7. Manning looks deep, puts the ball up. It's going to be too long for Don Herman, as he was hemmed off nicely. Good coverage afforded by Allen Ellis. And so New Orleans will punt the ball into the wind back to Chicago here in the 4th quarter. Let's watch the Bears play the pass.
Allen Ellis is one of the stronger points of the Bears secondary. He oftentimes get caught one-on-one coverage as happens right here against Don Herman. I think had the ball been thrown on the money, that would have been a completion, even though Mr. Ellis is step for step with him.
Blanchard ready to punt into the wind, and it is a strong wind. Look at that. Just stopped it cold. Ball hops down at the 44-yard line, takes a little Saint roll now, pretty good one, and goes down to about the 37-yard line as Greg Boykin and the Chicago Bears square off Jerry Muckensturm. Now the Bears down by 18 points early in the 4th quarter. We'll go back on offense, 1st and 10. Oops. Bob Avellini, as we're going to have a personal,
Field.
legal man downfield.
Number 26, kickers, declined. 1st down.
Somebody went down too early for New Orleans.
Don Blanchard hit that one a
Jimmy
little
Stewart.
too high into this wind. When you've got a strong wind facing you, you never try to get the football up in the air. You want to try to get it under the wind, a sailing cutting type kick.
It's tough for the receivers to gauge the ball coming in long, because that thing is going to go a lot farther than the trajectory would seem to be bringing it once the wind catches it. We've seen some passes when a player's wide open look like he's going to catch it. And now we're going to have a pause in the action here at Soldier Field with New Orleans leading Chicago 28-10. A lot of the old Chicago Bear All-Pros are gathered here today on the annual Bear Reunion Day. Players from far back as the early 20s, players like Hall of Famer Ed Healy, George Connor. Right now, what they're seeing is not the Bear offense that they're looking for it. Now, again, Avellini puts it up, and Rather is his man, turning in at the 50-yard line for a 14-yard gain. Cassidy and Christ were on the stop for the Saints, but the big gainer is downfield to the 50-yard line. And here is Baltimore leading Buffalo 17-7 in the 3rd quarter. Colts looking to annex their 3rd win. Washington leads St. Louis 7-0 at Washington.
Bears is a surprise to me because I thought St. Louis would really move against the Redskins.
Roland Harper breaks free for the Bears and gets the ball down to the 36-yard line of New Orleans.
Nifty beats are running by Harper, but a poor job done in tackling by the New Orleans Saints. As we take another look at it here. Up high, you can't tackle that way, but he gets into a block.
Big block by Noah Jackson, the left guard.
That was the key.
Out at Seattle, Denver's out in front of the Seahawks, 7-0 in the 1st quarter. I'll tell you one thing, Denver's got some football team.
They've got one of the better defenses that I've seen in the early weeks of the 1977 season.
Loop pass to Walter Payton. No, all the Saints converge on Walter in the football. Might have been intercepted had not everybody bounced into each other.
A rather dangerously thrown pass. You see that he has created an attraction down there, mainly New Orleans Saints, so you don't want to take the football down in that area. Luckily, there was no interception.
San Diego, a team with a lot of offense out in front of favored Cincinnati, 7-0 in the 1st quarter at San Diego. New Orleans Saints will see the Chargers and their explosion next week. People like Johnny Rodgers and Joe Washington. Here is Avellini throwing. Nicely caught. That time, Scott got the ball and held on. Took it down at the 29-yard line. Wayman Bryant, he'll wear that hat if it's 90 degrees out. Today you need it. I want to remind our viewers here right in Chicago, watching on WBBM TV, because we are able to bring you the Bears home game, the 2nd game of today's doubleheader on CBS will not be seen in Chicago. That's due to the provisions of the CBS NFL contract. Third down and 5 now for the Chicago Bears, 30-yard line of New Orleans. Saints lead the game 28-10 in the fourth quarter. Boy, Payton took a few shots there. Look at that guy work. He was stopped cold at the line of scrimmage. He might have gotten the first down. Now he's just short of it. Guy's a football player.
It looked as though he was in trouble getting right, almost too close on his guards. As you might notice, he keeps a hand on his guard to make sure that he got a little bit of distance, but it gets crowded there. So with the strength and determination of Payton, he keeps on working. Fine effort.
Fourth and just about a foot. They go to the man they call Bull Harper, and he is knocked down. They say there's a free football. The Saints think they have the football. But the Chicago Bears center, Dan Pfeiffer, has got his arm up calling for a huddle. He doesn't think so. It's a first down for the Bears. So they drive on, and that they must do to get back in this game as they trail New Orleans 28-10. We have 10 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the game. The Vikings have now moved out in front of Green Bay 19-7 in the fourth quarter. Pitch back to Payton. They got him hemmed off, so Walter Payton puts his head down. Goes headlong into a linebacker.
New Orleans wants Chicago to come into this area the way they set their defense, but I'm sure they didn't want Payton to get this many yards, and then he lowers it and pushes for another yard or so.
You're going to really want it. Walter Payton puts his head down and goes square into a linebacker who's got 40 pounds on him. Avellini, good play fake. Swings it out. Harper has the ball, and the Bears get it down inside the 10 as Chicago now with a diverse offense is moving the football nicely. Tom Myers, the free safety, made the stop for New Orleans. But again, there's a penalty marker down the Chicago Bear backfield, and it could be a holding.
The fans are giving their reaction to the Bears breakdown. They've done it time and time again in the fourth quarter here, at least twice on good drives. And these kind of things can stall Lady Machine.
It's the 9th penalty against Chicago.
Holding, number 88, offense, second down.
Greg Latta, the tight end, called for holding. So that, instead of putting the Chicago Bears near the New Orleans goal line, takes them back out to the New Orleans 28-yard line. There it's going to be third down and 13. Avellini, the quarterback. Payton and Harper, the setback. Schubert is wide to the right. And Scott is wide to the left. And they finally sacked Bob Avellini. I believe that is the first one. Alex Price tripped him up at the 29.
That might be the first sack all day on either team. I don't think that the Bears have gotten to Manning at all.
So that brings up third down now and 14 yards to go for the first down for Chicago. The ball just outside the New Orleans 28. Scott and Rather are wide to either side as Avellini takes the deep drop. Here's the big rush. Free football. This might go. This might go the distance. Bob Pollard with the lineman's dream. Bob Pollard goes the distance. Alex Price was the man who came in, hit Avellini, and knocked him free, and that is the football game, although we got 8:20 left. The Chicago Bears have fallen behind 34-10. And people are packing up their trench coats and bailing out of Wrigley Field, or out of Soldier Field right now.
Bob Pollard, the Saints defensive captain, he's their most consistent player in that defensive line, rather. Probably the best player on the defensive front here. He picks it up, and as Don has said, every lineman dreams of picking up a fumble or grabbing off an interception and running the distance with it.
All those ball control drills, they roll them at the linemen, get their hands ready to pick it up, and I'll tell you one thing, when Bob Pollard got his hands on it, he knew what to do with it. The extra point is drilled up and good by Zarro, and all of a sudden the New Orleans Saints, after 2 off weeks, are ripping it open here at Chicago as they are routing the Bears 35-10. Richie Zarro will kick it off now. He'll be hitting it into the wind as the Saints go a long way very fast. And it was the defense that did it. Price forced the fumble. Bob Pollard ran it in for 52 yards and a touchdown. Squib kick downfield is picked up by an upback. Robin Earl, the big fullback, crashes his way out to the 45-yard line. And now it's going to be pitch and catch for the Chicago Bears if they're to get back in this game. Kingrey was on the stop of Robin Earl.
Don, it can be done. If the Bears believe that it can be done, they have the wind at their backs if they want to throw the football, which is why they opted to have the wind at their back at the start of the ball game, because anything can happen down in the fourth quarter. And they must throw the ball now with the wind at their back.
8 minutes and 13 seconds left to play in the game. Avellini brings his team out of the huddle. Bob Avellini. 15 of 28 so far. Throwing the ball with a lot of drops. Puts it up. The ball is caught. Looked like the tight end Latta who got the ball. Down to the 41-yard line of New Orleans. But the clock continues to run, and right now it's working against the Chicago Bears. 7:55 to play in the game. New Orleans 35. The Chicago Bears 10. Nobody expected this. I don't know if George Halas looks as good right now as he did earlier. Avellini puts it up. Ball is tipped and incomplete. Alex Price, who forced the fumble that set up Pollard's touchdown run short time ago, also got that ball.
This is a defensive lineman's dream, having a quarterback at a position knowing that he has to throw the football.
At the moment, the Green Bay Packers are losing to the Minnesota Vikings, so the Vikings appear en route to upping their record to 2-1. The Lions are 2-1. They beat Philadelphia today. Bears and the Packers will probably go to 1-2. Again, they got the football. That time it was Alois Grooms. And also a penalty marker's down, as right now Chicago is misfiring.
They are sputtering, sure enough, Don. That front line of the Saints are smiling quite a bit with this, because the pressure is on the Bears. All they have to do is make sure they get pressure on that quarterback, and Bob Avellini. There's a sign of dejection.
New Orleans Saints fans run around the big banner, the faithful few. Here's the penalty.
Holding, number 64, offense, second down.
Ted Albrecht accused of the penalty, and so the ball is set back to the 49-yard line. Second down and 20 for Avellini and the Bears offense. Give it to Walter Payton, and he gets it down to about the 44-yard line. Preston Myers, the safeties for New Orleans, made the stop, but the clock continues to run. The Saints are dropping their cornerbacks way off the play. They're looking for the deep throw.
I'm surprised at the way the Bears are working down the stretch here. Normally, you've got to try to get the ball either deep downfield, stopping the clock if the ball's incomplete. If you must run it, you must run everything wide so the back can get outside and out of bounds if they can't get any yardage. Right now, they're not planning well.
Avellini on 3rd and 14. Gets time, puts it up. Nice reception down to the 27-yard line for a first down. And James Scott now has found the handle.
A good reception by James Scott here, and good pass by Avellini, but it still is not the kind of pass that you should throw when you're working against the clock. You've got to score 20 or more points. You want everything either deep down the middle, deep down to the outside, or short stuff to the outside. You're running back to stop the clock. You're working strictly against the clock.
And the clock continues to wind down. You see the story on penalties for Chicago. 10 for 106 yards. 6:08 left to play in the game. The clock running. The Bears go to the run. Roland Harper takes it down close to the 21-yard line to keep the New Orleans defense on as Chicago has got to run the ball. And they like it the big gainer because the Saints are playing a very obvious zone pass defense. Linebackers are pulling off.
They're going to give him the short run inside, the short pass inside, as long as they don't let him get out of bounds or into the end zone.
Chances of the Bears coming back to win this game are just about none at all. 5:35 to play, 35-10 New Orleans. Pitch back goes to Walter Payton. Look at that run. Payton's going to take it in for a touchdown. He's had a lot of great runs. Not any better than that.
And that's one of them.
He got that in his own. Walter Payton rips it in. That makes it a 35-16 game. Payton now has 84 yards in 16 carries. That one was good for 21 yards and a touchdown.
Don, this is art in motion. Nice little skip. Regains with that left hand. Gets his balance. Now it's time to stretch out, get everything you've got, and move it on in. Beautiful run.
Walter Payton from Jackson State. Extra point is up and good, and it's a 35-17 game, and with 5:27 left to play, New Orleans with the big lead will also get the football back, and they will be running it. This is Don Criqui with Emerson Boozer back at Soldier Field in Chicago. The Bears in a spectacular run by Walter Payton. Just rocketed his way through the New Orleans defense, get a touchdown, but the Saints still very much in command of the game, 35-17, and with time working against the Bears. 5:27 left to play. As Thomas has the ball teed up, looking for an onside kick. The Saints have sure-handed backs up along the front. And it is an onside kick. It didn't work. Kim Jones, a big back, number 32, rips the ball out to midfield, and the New Orleans Saints get the ball there 1st and 10. Schubert made the stop.
Again, you put the pressure on your defense here, but they've got to do the job. They must stand up right now, turn a fumble over, make an interception, anything to get the ball at this point.
Hey, these girls go hard for 4 quarters. Buffalo has gotten back into the game at Baltimore now, trailing the Colts 17-14, and San Francisco has gone in front of the Los Angeles Rams 7-3 in the first quarter. Saints are content to run the ball, and the clock. Roger Stillwell made the tackle. I don't think Manning's going to put it up, maybe not even on 3rd down.
Not even at 3rd, but the Bears are beginning to gamble a bit. They're bringing just about everybody, trying to get pressure on either the runner or the quarterback because they cannot afford a drive here.
Back to New Orleans for the Bon Amis. They've done their job.
Well, they're packing it up.
Second and 11. Swing pass goes out to Muncie. That stops the clock for Chicago. 4:41 left to play, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 11. Walter Payton itching to get back in there with the Chicago offense. But time very much against Payton and the Bears right now. 35-17. There's Henry Stram, who has been under the gun after a very off week last week against Detroit. Denver leads Seattle 10-7 in the first quarter. Stram says, we know what we have to do to win here, and 2 games don't make a season. Give us some time and watch. Well, they've done it today. Manning trying to burn Paxton. Apparently Manning isn't going to run the football, going to try to burn him some more.
Well, he had recognized the blitz coming. Galbraith from Muncie picked up the safety blitz very well, so he thought he had a shot of going up top since there's only one man covering down the field in the middle.
The Saints had given up 711 yards in their first 2 games this season, but they have been much tougher this week. The Bears with 126 yards rushing. Rathers had the big game receiving for Chicago, 6 for 113 yards. Blanchard gets set to punt, hits it into the wind, and that wind is really strong as you see the ball go out of bounds. Looks like it's just going to be inside the 30. Right at the 30. And there's also a penalty marker down in the play. The clock is stopped, 4:30 left to play in the game. New Orleans leading Chicago 35-17. It's a brisk day now. Temperatures have dropped into the 40s here at Chicago, and the winds are coming in stronger than at the outset of the game. They've been blowing the whole game. Have a personal foul.
The Saints have turned over, created a big mistake here. I think it's on number 54, Pat Hughes. There was a little tussle that you might not have seen by one of the Bears and Pat Hughes, and I noticed that Pat Hughes had the guy by the face mask.
That won't do.
You don't want to do anything to hurt your ball club, be it jumping off sides, dropping a pass, creating unnecessary roughness, nothing at all.
The guy really hurts is the guys wearing the other helmet.
Those are the ones that get you.
The guy got a full thrust out there with the wind blowing, probably gusting 25 miles an hour. Let's see him tack into that, see how good he is.
Personal foul, face mask, New Orleans after the kick, 1st and 10, Chicago.
So the Bears get the ball now at their 46-yard line, just across the 46. Pfeiffer down over the ball at center. Rather is wide to the right. Scott is wide to the left. Pitch is over the middle. It is caught by Walter Payton. But the clock continues to run. 4:20 to go as the Bears huddle very quickly. Talking about how good George Halas looks, Emerson. He calls to mind the great line of Moose Krause down at Notre Dame. Said,
oh, yeah.
Man goes through 3 stages in his life: youth, middle age, and gee, you look good. Second and 5 for Avellini. Downfield, tip ball, incomplete at the 20. That's going to bring up 3rd down and 5. Steve Schubert was the intended receiver for the Bears. Normally an expert on the special teams of Chicago, and they're running a lot of deep patterns, the Bears are, so they're alternating wide receivers, giving guys either Rather, Schubert, Scott, all going deep. They have to do that now as they trail the New Orleans Saints 35-17 with 3:47 left to play. Avellini got full shot on that one. Going on a fly pattern after the football was James Scott, but the whistle blew just before the snap of the ball, so the play is nullified. That's about all that Avellini and the Bear offense has an option in doing now, is trying to hit long. Down by 18 points with 3:45 to play. Take 3 touchdowns for the Bears to win this game.
The whistle was blown from that end of the football field. We thought it was a delay of game. It is not. The down will be repeated. Full 30-second count.
Some of the Bear fans resorting to the arcane now to try to help them out, blowing whistles in the end zone. Here's a final in from Bloomington, Minnesota. The Minnesota Vikings beat the Green Bay Packers 19-7. So the Vikings go up 2-1 in the NFC Central Division. The Packers fall to 1-2. Lions are 2-1. The Bears will be 1-2 unless something miraculous for them happens. Intercepted. Jim Merlo picks it off. He returned 2 for touchdowns last year. He's going to get his first this year. Guys closing in on him, but Merlo goes into the end zone for a touchdown. Jim Merlo was caught by Walter Payton, but the impetus of Payton hurdled himself and Jim Merlo into the end zone, and so defensemen for the New Orleans Saints have scored 2 touchdowns today. It is a 41-17 game.
That's balanced scoring. They've done it both offensively and defensively today. Avellini should not have thrown this ball at this point because he got a lot of pressure from Alex. Threw the ball off balance. And that's the results.
Jim Merlo, a fourth-year linebacker from Stanford. Extra point by Richie Zarro is up and good. And we have a 42-17 score on the board. And any Bear fans that thought Chicago had a chance are firmly convinced now they do not, as Soldier Field is emptying out. There he goes. We are back at Soldier Field in Chicago as the north winds blow harder on the Chicago Bears, especially New Orleans, coming from a 90-degree climate. They've had a heat wave in Louisiana, tearing it right up in this chill Illinois air. And here is the kick downfield, picked up by Art Best to the 15-yard line. And Best is out to the 28-yard line, and there the Bears will go on offense 1st and 10 with very little hope left as they trail 42-17. James Hunt has won at Watkins Glen, the U.S. Grand Prix. You'll be seeing highlights of that event next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular. Mario Andretti finished 2nd, Jody Scheckter was 3rd, and Nicky Lauda was 4th. The Hall of Fame of great drivers, the top 4 finishers. Roland Harper takes the handoff, runs it up the middle, and gets the ball out to the 37-yard line.
Coach Jeff Pardee never says die. He still has his offensive unit, starting offensive unit, on the field, even though they don't have an outside chance of overtaking the Saints at this point.
Clock is down, close to 3 minutes to go in the game and running. Avellini comes out of the huddle now. 2 wide receivers go out to the left, Scott and Schubert. Pitch back to Payton. And Walter Payton, look at this kid play football. Isn't he something? He's going to go the distance possibly. Isn't he amazing? He is literally astounding. He is an astounding football. He stepped out of bounds at the 14-yard line.
Another piece of art. Watch this thing here. He pops it as soon as he crosses the line, gets good blocking, pulls his foot out. A would-be tackler, he runs over. Now he puts it in high gear. Watch him change gears right here, breaks it down, nice and easy does it, turns it on again.
Oh, yeah.
A little step out of bounds.
49-yard gain. So Walter Payton now has gained, what, 133 yards and 17 carries. I think it's more like 123. Well, 133 is the unofficial count for Walter Payton as he... Roland Harper goes up the middle. Let's watch Walter Payton do it again.
The key to it all is shifting of speed. Here he needs strength to get away from the initial tacklers. He opens it up. And it is, as the old covered wagon drivers would say, whoa.
Tommy Myers, the free safety of the Saints, wonder what Walter Payton's made of. He's hit him head on about 3 times and just bounced off. Payton takes it down to the 1-yard line as we have the 2-minute warning given. 2 minutes to play in the game. 42-17 is the count. The Saints in the lead. We have a timeout on the field, but I think we're going to see Mr. Walter Payton take it into the end zone once more. One more time. We are back now, heading down the stretch at Soldier Field. 2 minutes to play in the game. The Bears have the ball at the 2-yard line of New Orleans, as Walter Payton has now rushed for 140 yards for Chicago. He had 160 in the opener against the Lions. Got 336 for 3 games. I guess that certifies you as a football player. Harper runs. He did not get there apparently. Head linesman moves in. Signals the ball just inside the 1-yard line. And the clock continues to wind down. 1:48 to play as Schubert comes in with a play for Avellini. Ryan Baschnagel goes out. 2nd and goal at the 1-yard line. Walter Payton over the top. Touchdown, Chicago. 1:26 to play. The Bears put up some more points, but they're still way short of New Orleans. It's a 42-23 game. The Saints in the lead.
This was also a great effort by Payton, only needing a yard out. He turns his body loose, gives it up, gets over the top, comes head first, lands on the shoulder, neck, head, everything. That's what you call turning the body loose.
Bounces right up like a greyhound now.
Up and over.
Thomas hits the extra point with Baschnagel holding it. Now with 1:26 left to go, the Bears will kick it back off to the Saints. Chuck Muncie is back deep now with Mike Strawn. Saints have their onside kick return unit in. Everybody in there is either defensive back, an end, or a running back. People who can handle the football, the skilled positions, as it were. Last time that Thomas tried the onside kick, it was really like a little chip shot that was fielded by an up back, Kim Jones, big fullback who's deployed at the 35-yard line.
Don, I used to play deep man on the onside kick prevent team, and I'd sit back and say, please don't kick it down here to me. I don't want to bring it out.
I'll tell you, you took pretty good care of that Namath. He was very glad to see you last week.
Yeah, we've had some good days working together, trying to get a good passing attack. Plus, I think he made my career a little bit longer. And I ran as much as one of these carriers here, I don't think I would have been around that long, because running backs do take a beating. And being a pass protector, you can stay around much longer.
You kept him around, too, picking up those linebackers. Oh, the kick squirms on through. So we delay the inevitable a bit longer. They'll kick it over.
I'm sure Mr. Muncie didn't want it. He's sitting back there and hoping the ball does not come that far downfield, not really ready for it, but played it wisely. Let the ball go out of bounds. Now it must be done over.
I'd like to thank some of those who've assisted us here today in the booth. Dave Bossings and Terry Kane. Father Phil Shalala. And downstairs, our producer David Fox, our director Chris Erskine, associate producer Phil Ruskin, and the fabled Nick Rivas. With 1:26 to go, 42-24 is the score. The Saints in the lead. What in the world could the Chicago Bears be huddling about?
Come on, Don.
Oh, sir, they're in an extensive huddle. I'd like to remind the Chicago viewers again, because we are able to bring you the Bears home game, the second game of today's doubleheader on CBS will not be seen in Chicago due to the provisions of the CBS NFL contract. Bears, tell you, they feel they still got a shot. 1:23 to go.
I tell you, Party says never die.
Down by 16.
The only thing that bothers me late in the ball game, not having an outside chance of winning the ball game.
Down by 18.
You risk a piece of property like Walter Payton and Avellini, a number of good ball players on the field late in the ball game. Anything can happen.
Avellini brings his team out. 1:23 to play. 42-24 New Orleans. Down the middle. On a crossing pattern, Latta, the tight end, was the deep man. The clock is stopped with 1:18 to play now. Final score in. Dallas beats Tampa Bay 23-7.
Don, I can remember losing a football game. The Jets were up by 3 touchdowns. We were right at 2 minutes to go in the ball game. We lost the game by 2 touchdowns, like it was.
You were up by 3 with 2 minutes to go?
With 2 minutes to go out in Oakland, and they later turned it the Heidi game.
You better run this by us again. You're up by 3 touchdowns with 2 minutes to go, and you lost by 2 touchdowns?
Lost the ball game by 2.
You guys must have got fired after that one. Brian Bastigel got it, but on the 1 hop. He's 3rd down and 10 now for Chicago at the 47-yard line of New Orleans.
3rd down, 10 yards to go. Bears ball at the Saints 47-yard line.
1:11 left to play in the game. Henry Stram with his little computer printout. Oh, it was right in the hands of the middle linebacker, Joe Fetterspiel.
He could have ended it all.
L.A. and San Francisco. Now Los Angeles has scored a touchdown to come from 7-3 deficit to take a 10-7 lead. 1:06 left to play here at Soldier Field in Chicago. The Bears desperately trying to put up points as they are out of the game at the moment 42-24 with only 1:06 left to play. New Orleans really broke it open on a pair of touchdowns by defensive players. Bob Pollard, defensive end, scooping up a fumble. Jim Merlo, a linebacker, returning an interception. Cavallini's got a fire. He doesn't get it there. That was a 4th down. And so the Saints offense come out to run out the game. 59 seconds to play, and New Orleans with 4 downs. Next Saturday at 4:30 on the CBS Sports Spectacular, highlights of the U.S. Grand Prix run today at Watkins Glen and won by James Hunt, an all-star driving field in that event. You'll see live the World Middleweight Full Contact Karate Championship with the world champion Bill Superfoot Wallace defending his title against Pat Worley. Wallace is a guy who has been timed delivering his right foot to somebody's head at 60 miles an hour.
Did you say Bill Thunderfoot or Tenderfoot?
Superfoot.
Superfoot. I'm wrong on both
hard
counts.
foot. You'll also see the second week of competition in the World's Strongest Men. This week we've been steel bars. The object of this event is to press the end of a steel bar together, beginning with 1/3 of an inch in diameter and 4 feet long, and progressing up to 3/4 of an inch in diameter, 4 feet long. Godzilla's 2-1 to win that. 2nd down and 10 now for New Orleans as they're content to run it down. The Bears taking a timeout to stop the clock, looking to get the football back. They're going to play it right out, the Chicago Bears. So certainly can't fault them for. But New Orleans is going to win on an upset here today as they go on back to New Orleans to play San Diego next Sunday, and the Chicago Bears will be going against the Los Angeles Rams a week from tomorrow night here at Soldier Field. Once he goes in a run, advances the ball out to the 49-yard line. Clock winding down, 42 seconds, 41 seconds.
It'll be a happy ride back to New Orleans for the Saints, but rather sad stay here in Chicago for the Bears, but they must forget about this one and make preparations for next week.
That's about all you can do when you have the bad days.
That's it. You've got to get it out of your mind as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, they have to relive this thing again tomorrow or no later than Tuesday when watching their films.
Pitch back to Muncy. He gets down to the 35-yard line, and that will be the final play of the game. And so the gun sounds, and it is official. The New Orleans Saints upsetting the Chicago Bears 42-24. Chicago scored first 7-0, and from then on it was New Orleans as the Saints went off to a 21-10 first half lead. Extended that lead throughout the second half with big defensive plays, and finally prevailed over the Chicago Bears in what's got to be the highest scoring game of the NFL season so far. 66 points on the board. New Orleans getting its first win in Chicago, its second loss of the season with just 1 win. Now for Emerson Boozer, this is Don Criqui reminding you to stay tuned as the NFL Today continues after this word from your local station.